2 early misses for Brisbane. Lockie Neal will know about that. He's kicked 9-3 this season, so he's been hitting the mark. 3 minutes into the opening term, it wasn't the most convincing of kicks, but it doesn't matter. First goal to the Lions.
Start on fire here, the Brisbane Lions. It's been all centre forward for them. Been able to set up strong behind the ball from that kick out there. And this is a good sign. We know that Still Sidebottom's gone to Lockie Neal early in this game and he's got himself involved defensively. It's one of the best acts you can do. When you have got someone sitting on you, you solely put your mind onto defence. And a really important finish here too, Gary. Just the fact that they've had a couple of minute misses. Danaher, Rayner have both missed.
Didn't exactly flush it, did he?
I thought it a little bit skinny, so.
But it's still got the 6 points attached to it, and that is a great start for a man who's going to get some attention. He was a little quieter last week. Got Bedford as a matchup, so that's a nice start.
More discussion about the setup there, led by Dunkley for the Lions. McInerney.
Moore's now peeled over to Hipwood, which is a much better matchup.
He's up against Cameron, who gets body position, taps it down towards Pendlebury. Nice tackle applied, and Fletcher somehow got rid of it. Moore. First look at Nick Dacos to his brother Josh. Streaks away, forward hand pass is good. Now through the hands of Schultz. Back to Josh Dacos. Sizes up inside. And there he is, you mentioned in September, Bobby Hill. It's the first real look for the Pies.
We spoke about that Schultz-Zorko matchup there. Dane Zorko just left Lockie Schultz and tried to get up and be proactive. Schultz actually has flipped around the back. So you want to play on Dane Zorko, you know he's going to draw the ball as a half forward. You've got to make yourself damaging, and a lot of that time that is going to be goal side of it.
Hill, Elliott, McCreary kicked 9 goals between them in their 20-point victory earlier in the year.
Well, he's kicked 9 in his last 3 outings, including the grand final versus the Lions, just to calm things down a touch for the Pies. About 48 metres out, strikes it well, but hooks it.
Just down at ground level, Howie, perfect conditions for football. We have had a touch of rain over the last 24 hours, but no excuse. This arena with the swirling breeze, but no obvious advantage to either team.
A thump from Zorko to Leicester, didn't get the bounce of the ball. He does get a second opportunity, but there's 2 Pies there to constrict immediately.
Frampton got away with one there. Just came forward to impact that contest and let it out the back. Craig McCravey saying no balls out the back today. We have to keep it in front.
Neal on the move. He's already got that early goal, which makes you feel a lot better when you're being tagged aggressively. Sidebottom joins with the tackle fest there.
Other unique matchup as well. Hoskin Elliott has gone to Harris Andrews and is just playing sort of 2 or 3 metres behind him to make him accountable.
That's what's back to goal. Again, Neal found a way to manufacture a disposal. Still Sidebottom. Game 330. You never know when your role's going to change. It could be very late in life, couldn't it?
I reckon that's what you really need at game 330, to be finding out you can tag.
Coach intimated during the week that he'd be seeing Sidebottom back for another pre-season. Another crack at it by Tell, overrun by Pendlebury. Fletcher swings it back around the corner. Howe's in best position. Simple for a man of his talent.
Good job for Logan Morris today as well. He's got a lot of natural talent playing on Jeremy Howe, one of the best interceptors in the competition.
Very crisp kick to Hill, and they're on the move again. Deep towards McStay. Andrews does enough for the fist. It's off hands, and it's through for a minor.
It is very interesting watching the back 6 of Brisbane. There is a little leg rope at the moment, so they're playing with some confidence, but they're playing very assertively. Just a quick ball movement of Collingwood could catch them out.
Wilmot look to the outer side, back towards the members, and that's eventually where he decides to go. Doesn't time it at all well. Opens the door for Quaynor to fix the spoil on Berry. Quaynor comes again, dishes off by hand. Schultz, handy around the goal. But another missed opportunity for the Pies.
Frustrations in front of goal for both teams. Press kick is the one to Morris, posting up, and now they're on the move. McCluggage to the outside. Hipwood returning to the team. After a few groin issues, rolls around on the left, gets it in there quick. Hunting Danaher early. Was that arm chop? There was.
Just that quick ball move. It all started with Dane Zorko. What an ability to have from a kick out, just to rip it 50 metres straight up the middle, and that just cuts the game and any defence to pieces there. And from there,
wastes no time, wraps it around. He feels so comfortable in that scenario. Brisbane strike for a second time.
From there it opens up, and you can see coast to coast. Just this ability, Morris puts himself in a really good position, and from there, Collingwood's backs are all focusing on their men. They have got no eyes on the ball, so Brisbane can just walk this up. And for Eric Hickwood to get involved early on, not so sure about this kick here, but he got it up. Charlie Cameron was the other one you can see just coming into screen. He was the fat side runner and the free kick, and this is, I reckon, Joe at his best. When he's got that, he doesn't have to think about it too much. Goes back, sets himself, and a good finish there from Joe Danaher.
Coming in today, he had 191 goals for each of Essendon and Brisbane. He's now kicked one more goal as a
Does
line.
that mean he's more a line than a bomber?
Well,
the Logan Morris lead was the one that set it up, and they can play back off. Howe and Darcy Moore will just play off their men and allow them to come at it. So, terrific setup.
Mick Texan gets his first opportunity in the ruck, down towards Rayner, side bottom, immediately jumps on him. And he goes into the middle alongside Berry, both go down. There's Parker stepping through traffic, the former leg spinner for Victoria, now playing for the Pies. Dished it out to Archie, run out from behind by Schultz. Didn't affect the kick, it's a good ball too. He's the man you just mentioned, Gary.
Yeah, this kid, we marvelled at Mac Andrews' athleticism, and then we watched Matt Caddy play, and we looked at him and see how he covers the ground. The separation he got from Jeremy Howe then, just there was one push in the chest and then a real acceleration. He's an exciting prospect. I think he surprised even the Brisbane Lions at how quickly he's developed.
Fine start to his career, just his 14th match. He's kicked 17 majors. Pretty tight in the pocket for Morris. Tries to draw it back. Doesn't quite get enough on it. And Moore makes sure the ball is dead.
Just look at some young forwards, Gary, with a knack of just getting in behind to lead up at the right time. He actually reads the ball as well as I've seen a young player in the air as well. Just puts himself in the right spot at the right time.
played in just his second loss so far last week. Moore became the target on the way back in. Jamie Elliott is the deepest forward at the moment, still 2 or maybe 4 kicks away depending on the method they use. Going laterally and now forward from Howe to Quainer.
He's got guarding space at the moment. So Starcevic, who's had Hill, so he just lets Lester peel over. Harris Andrews just comes across and takes up a hole as well. So they're in sync. It's a back 6 at the moment. It's very much in sync.
A lot of hands up down the line to match Howe, who is true to his word and his action. Kicks, but McInerney got to the front, which meant there was a clear fly for Brain. No mark. Archie, though, sets it to Neal. Gathers and shorts to Morris again. Barely the required, but he can turn back into the middle. There's risk in all sorts of forms in that kick. The fist away was a good one in the end from Cameron, and he followed up his work through Lipinski to side bottom. Runs straight into Brain and can't get out the other side. Ashcroft, Lipinski with the tackle. Quick kick, Ashcroft again. Deep to Danaher, who's feeling it. And Joe takes the mark.
Go back to that Brain tackle in the middle of the ground.
Open field. Hardest tackle in the game.
100%. And the vulnerabilities of every other player as a back when you're looking around and you're going, please stick it. And he did. And this is the result. Here it is here. Still side bottom. Stopped in his track and unable to get the handball to a teammate.
So Danaher already lining up for his second goal. We know he's a confidence player, and he's feeling it this afternoon, Joe. 2 already, the Lions dominant.
He started on fire, Joe Danaher. He's kicked 2 goals, 1 early on. I really like this contest here. A couple of the young stars of the competition. You want to know where Will Ashcroft's at the moment? Just puts his head over the ball. Nick Dacos just goes with the arm like that. It's moments like that you just look at, where are the Brisbane Lions at? And then the shadow Brain tackle. That was fantastic, that open field tackle, Gary.
It was great, and this is the challenge now. So this is a Collingwood side whose season is on teetering. Can they stay invested in this contest? So Brisbane have done exactly the right thing. They're saying, how interested are you to fight through this game, knowing there's no guarantee? In fact, a very slim chance. They're asking the question right now, can and will Collingwood stay in this contest?
Danaher's 47th goal, his 11th in the last 12 where he's kicked multiples. Jesse Hogan after a big bag earlier this afternoon. Looks like he's got the Coleman sewed up against Freo. So Collingwood just need to get their hands on the footy. Joe's running in the middle of the ground now. He's everywhere. Ashcroft, slick hands. Across to Wilmot. They look good, the Lions. Archie drives it forward. Eric's down deep now. Ball comes from Frampton. Cameron gets his first look at it. Bailey gets back on the right boot. Swings it back towards goal. Collingwood have got the numbers. Oh, coming in from the side though. Just split 3 pies was Lohman.
Outstanding. This is exciting if you're a Brisbane Lions supporter. So they've got all sorts of problems in their back with their back six, Collingwood. So Jeremy Howe, with the changes coming on and off, he finds himself with Charlie Cameron. And then Bailey gets involved. They want Bailey to find some touch coming into the finals, and they love what this bloke's been able to do.
Kick 5 in round 10 versus Richmond. He's an excitable character. His teammates love him. And Brisbane have kicked the first 4 at the MCG.
This is their evolution, though, Brisbane. It's that defensive side of the game that Lohman comes in now. Also, there's a bit of being in sync here. So you even look at the Lions players here. They're just running in a wave, but no one ever gets too far ahead of the ball. You see Ashcroft comes back to it, then Archie resets himself, so he's involved in the wave. And then even here, just the ability for Charlie Cameron gets that ball out. Now, Zach Bailey's kicked a goal from here at grand final day, but the ability to set it up. And, of course, Lohman, who's been a great injection this year as a small forward.
We saw him at the start of that clip there. In the
I was just going to say, if you want to go back to where that started in the middle of the ground, it was Kai Lohman who got the first possession and then marched in the goal square. So
what a contrast the Lions are to Sydney in terms of how they start games. This will be 19-3 for the year now of first quarters. Look at what that adds up to compared to those that are even close. So Collingwood have got to get a move on. Bytel with that opportunity to Lipinski. Elliott gave him the short. He's got longer and grander plans. Heads towards McStay, who comes out. Well defended by Danaher, of all people, on the last line. Oscar Elliott to Quader. Kicked his first goal of the year last week, and that was his second.
We're talking about some of the issues they got at the other end of the ground. Collingwood, well, Isaac Quader would normally be in that back defensive six mix, but he's played on the wing. He's been playing on the wing all afternoon here and been able to hit the scoreboard. Hasn't quite had the season that we would have expected. He's been a little bit sore at times. We've watched him hobble around the deck, but if you're going to play on the wing, you've got to be able to work both ends, and he got himself in a really good position here and was good enough to finish.
Balance for Joe Danaher there when he plays in the ruck, whether you are that option to market or potentially there just kill that ball and take any form of soft drop out. Pies are straight onto it.
So he goes forward again. So Frampton has to go to Danaher, which means Howe comes to Hipwood. Now Moore's gone back to the goal square with Logan Morris, and it's dangerous. Then you've got Ashcroft, Cameron and Lohman.
Quainer with the second goal of the season. Chris trying to keep an eye on Lockie Neal. Good luck with that. Parker comes in, gets rid of Lohman at the contest. McInerney just threw it on his boot anyway he could manage. Howe gathers it. Tasmania looks out wide to Schultz. He's got Bytel further by hand, uses that. Bytel nearly missed the footy on the way, just bounced off his ankle. Was not ideal at all. Brisbane should get the turnover and do. Although they split it into the middle of the ground. Cox takes a while to gather it. Maynard scrapped a little passage of play. Sends it forward in the path of Elliott. There's Joyce coming through with the helmet on. Now Brisbane will get the footy.
Opportunity missed for the Magpies. How much will it hurt them? Fletcher in the chain to McCluggage. He had the handball, but he wants to go longer. Morris and Moore very steadfast and staunch. The captain that time is just going to take a little break. Brisbane's lead is 18. And now with everything settled, it's long down the line. He waited till McStay could get there and make a contest against Joyce. Graham ball again for Brain. His first trip to the MCG as a senior player. Ashcroft to Fletcher, the great young mates. Deep it goes. Franklin's come off down here this time. And he's going to get into full gallop mode now. Out of defence. Long kick. Good spoil from Starcevic. And he's going to get aggressive now after seeing off McCreary. Feeds it in to Cameron. The take was good from the corner. Charlie spears it in on the bounce. McCluggage couldn't quite stun the ball to his liking, as you saw. Side bottom and Lipinski come in, and they will be furious with that, the Collingwood fans.
Well, it's about a foot away from a perfect play. Charlie Cameron had Frampton, Moore and Jeremy Howe, all three of them trying to close him down.
Collingwood have some spare men down back for Brisbane. Now McInerney throws it on the boot. Big O's got a hand in the air. Another one for Brisbane.
take that down to one person and one person only, Will Ashcroft. The ability to break tackles. You can see here, this is the Charlie Cameron one where he tried to kick the Nathan Buckley Chisler 1 foot into Hugh McCluggage there. But Will Ashcroft at this stoppage just had the ability to shrug a couple of tackles here. The first one, Chris, there, and got the ball out to Big O, and a nice little finish by the big ruckman there. Little check side around the corner, thanks for coming.
Will Ashcroft's first quarter last week was sensational. Now, it got lost a bit. It got lost a bit because then the Giants owned the last 3 quarters, but it was everything that we've come to love about Will Ashcroft in a short period of time. All the signs that he's getting back to his best, and that your great pickup there speaks of his strength and his confidence to stand up in a tackle coming off an ACL and hand that off. It's exciting for Brisbane supporters.
Making earn his 8th goal of the year. Picked up 7 coaches' votes last week, Ashcroft. 29 touches and all. He's played on there. Had to adjust Dacos, which he did, but it does put Pendlebury in a tight spot in the middle of the ground.
Fundamental of the game, Gary. Contested possession. Absolutely getting smacked at the moment. The Collingwood Football Club. Minus 15.
And Brisbane did this last week as well against the Giants in the first quarter. So that would be the only thing at the moment. Everything else has been quite superb.
Yeah, went 4-7 to 1 behind last week. Just dominated contested possession. Still lost the game. Neil.
It's his 7th touch, Lockie Neal. So it's a different matchup for Steele Sidebottom this week.
Toss to Archie. Nibbled the kick down the line to Zorko. These days he's a backman. Pretty sure he can still remember how to use it in the forward half. And he puts it on the chest of Morris.
He's been great. This bloke's work rate and ability to get off his man. Now, it's work rate, but it's also the Collingwood defence at the moment who are just under siege.
Well, they're scrambled at the moment, especially with the side that likes to drop off and help out in the air, but they're just lost, and he's just picking the lane and the right lane to come up. A lot of key forwards these days don't lead up at the footy. They sort of hail taxis and want it out the back. Logan Morris just presenting.
So that one shot that just faded across. 17-10 coming in with 1 miss. 9-7 from set shots. That one's similar, but going to the other side, comes off hands, and as you can see, it's over the line and out of bounds.
It's a sharp rebound, and again, the cautionary tale is they did this last week and got run over the top of, but it is a sharp response that Chris Fagan would have been looking for here, and it's a super first quarter again.
It's their 10th shot for goal, and they only have 5 goals, so there is some element of similar to last week.
McInerney kicked the last. Look at Ashcroft, just burrowing his way through to Cameron, doesn't need much space. Well tackled, side bottom, throws his body at it. Ashcroft goes again, just burrowing his head in, trying to get it clear. Pendlebury does just that. Noble will be under pressure, and they are swarming in attack the Brisbane Lions.
Big worries for Collingwood at the moment. You look through the midfield, Josh Dacos 4, side bottom 2, Nick Dacos 1.
Collingwood fans not so impressed with some of the umpiring so far. One of the words of their coach after last week is still ringing in their ears. On the throw in, the tap comes. 30 from goal, Berry. Big O basically threw that away. Taken well. Dacos fired it out to Schultz. And then side bottom. Somehow, hasn't been pretty, but it is effective. Managed to work the ball out to the wing. There's Parker's kick towards Cox, who was outnumbered and off balance and had no real play on the ball. Instead, it's Starcevic.
No structure ahead of the footy. He was just great. Starcevic sat back on his own there and watched it unfold and came up at the right time and picked it off. So they're just dominant both ends of the ground at the minute.
Archie works it to Berry, who slipped as he tried to get rid of it. The umpire said no, he's knocked it off his line. And Zorko back to Harris Andrews, a calming presence in defence. Continue down the line to Shadow Brain, the beautifully named, puts it out in front of McCluggage. Tight on the boundary line. He takes on by Tell and got away and slipped over in the end.
There's a bit of arrogance in that from Hugh McCluggage. He slipped, stood up, and then stiff-armed it.
So McCluggage gets out of it with a free kick. Dominating inside 50s the line, just sets it up for Loman.
Wow.
Good sticky hands, Kai.
Wow. When you've got this is when footy is the most fun, Jack, is when everything's coming together, and what happens in the forward group, you're just looking at each other going, get out of my road, because I need to look at this.
He picked the hole perfectly there, though, the kicker and also the lead from Loman, just found the right spot.
How hard is this to defend, though? We talk about Collingwood's defenders that like to play off. They don't know where it's going inside 50.
Started the first 3 games of the Sarbies an integral part all of a sudden is Kai Lohmann. And he has got two, and Brisbane are absolutely smoking the Pies early.
Yeah, it is. 6 inside 50 marks. I mean, I could deal out all the numbers in front of us here, but your eye just says that this is a team who are just sharpening up for the most important time of the year. And when you look up and you've got Hipwood, you've got Danaher, you've got Lohmann, you've got Rayner, who we haven't even seen Rayner yet. Rayner's been their form player. He's had one touch. Hipwood's had one touch. So this upside is enormous for this group.
The other part of it is they all look in sync, Gary, but Lockie Neal actually came back to block for McInerney there. So there's, you know your role, you feel safe in, and you belong in your system as you start to play undefendable football.
Last time he played against the Pies, he was still the sub. That was the last time he's been the sub. And it's a long time before we'll see him not being in the starting 22. Kai Lohmann, another free kick going Brisbane's way. McInerney heaves it deep. Hipwood and Danaher are both present. Danaher just worked under the ball. Noble under immediate pressure at ground level as a whistle, and it's a Collingwood free.
The first one.
Have a listen to this.
7-1, that's the first free kick for Collingwood today. The crowd might know it as well.
Just let that filter across the rest of the MCG as Noble chooses the members' side.
It is a good crowd at the MCG. Collingwood fans turning out again to support their side, trying to keep the season alive under all sorts. 6 goals to 1.
They're tackling free kicks too. So there's no problem there. That's just a willingness to tackle and turn the footy over.
Just a short ball kick on Lohmann. So Parker's standing beside him at the moment.
They're all trying to fill a hole here, so
Dunkley loads it up. Big boys fly. Danaher got a good piece of it, comes to ground. Lohmann's there again, more good tackle. Whipped out a hand pass towards side bottom, just spirals it out of defence. Will come back in a hurry though. In the way of Starcevic looks in the pocket. There he is again. Kai Lohmann will line up for third in the quarter.
Spoke about Starcevic behind the ball, setting up the ball. He's actually on the outlet, so as the ball comes in from one side of the ground, Collingwood will still Solomon just get it out the other side of the ground. But Starcevic has set himself up perfectly in that exit. And then it goes straight back in. So you're kicking back into where all the space is. And Lohmann, smart forwards, put themselves in the right spots. He just popped up in a little hole again.
Earlier on, he kicked a 5 against Richmond earlier on in the season. I wouldn't believe this is happening. Is he lining up for his third at the MCG? Just can't know.
it's his third mark inside the forward 50 in this first quarter. Now, this is the problem with zone defences, in my opinion. At some stage, someone's got to take some ownership of him. Whether it is Maynard who says, righto, let me lock down until quarter time and we'll reassess. Right now, they're all guarding space, looking around at each other. No one's taking responsibility.
Dacos plays it as wide as he can with Cameron as the target. Job done by Wilmot.
What does that do, Gary, if you're running the zone and then one of your men has to go one-on-one?
I reckon you've all got to go one-on-one.
Yeah, you can't be half.
You can't just have one. You can't go half a system, half one-on-one. They've all got to lock down, pick someone. And right now it looks like it's Darcy Moore that's going to Lohmann.
Lohmann 1 goal 6 over the last 5 weeks.
Morris is out of the ball by himself too.
Rayner bobbling for Fletcher. They are one-on-one deep at the moment. Frampton all got collected high, no whistle, and it's just a ball up. 31 points is the margin. Vacant goal square. Crowd just saw the replay. Rayner on the move. Dunkley was ready and waiting and willing, and Moore is there. Thank goodness the Collingwood fans say.
You just see the confusion amongst the Collingwood backs at the moment. Luckily, Darcy Moore dropped off there and protected the goals.
17-4, the inside 50s.
Will Parker is a man that right now has got Kai Lohmann for opponent.
Kept him by McCreary. He goes to hand pass to himself, KB style, and works it nicely. McCreary injecting a bit of pace, takes a couple of bounces. He's got inboard options if he can use an excess. Oh, he just missed the man going through in the form of Parker. Zorko comes the other way. He's got a problem with Hoskin Elliott. Joyce, now Ashcroft, always calm under pressure. Sets it up an opportunity for Moore. Gets the fist down towards Parker again. Tries to slide it inside to Jamie Elliott. The first time we've seen him. Jamie just needs to calm it down and go back and kick the goal.
First mistake, really, we're seeing from Brisbane coming out of their back half. just hung it out. Will Ashcroft just bit off a bit more than he could chew. And
It's really the only option he had at that point in time because Zorko had come back inside. But that's good defence from Collingwood there. They were able to maintain their sort of composure with their defence, actually pushed up the ground nicely.
Pretty good numbers for Jamie Elliott. This rounds 9 through 17 with that foot issue. 14th game, he's kicked 20 goals. Fan favourite Jamie Elliott just drifts across.
Well, they needed more, didn't they really? 1 goal 4 is their return. Limited opportunities. So they've scored every time they've gone in. And they are 30 points in arrears. Brisbane controlling the scoreboard and the footy on the way out.
No, we talked about the first quarter of last week, and we've spoken about it in the huddle. I've got absolutely no doubt about that. They led by 30 points at quarter time last week as well.
Berry beyond the wing. Morris with a little nudge. Maynard, that was his most prominent fist there. Out towards Lohman. And the time it goes out.
And that turnaround started against the Giants last week when they went in at 30 points down in the middle of the ground. So, they are scoring when they go forward, Colin. That's the beauty. So if they can get some clearance dominance in the middle of the ground, and we're looking at Dacos and we're looking at Pendlebury and Crisp, give their forwards a look. That's what will be sold to them at quarter time.
So almost effective ruckman in the competition, battling it out. Cameron the tap, Starcevic now up the ante with the pressure. That's where it starts. Long tackle from Bobby Hill, and that time the crowd get the umpire pointing the right way in their mind.
Bobby gets Dunkley, centre wing. Shane Warne stand side with a big crowd in attendance. Long lead on to hit the former Lion himself, McStay. Sizzling ball into the pocket. Mark taken. Better from Collingwood. Hoskin Elliott always good in the air. Tight angle for Collingwood second.
Hoskin Elliott just playing at the back of Harris Andrews there. Harris Andrews turned his head at the wrong time. And Hoskin Elliott sort of read the blindside perfectly and just darted back up. And good here as well. Just to drop this one off and actually find that one there over the top of Shadow Brain.
In game number 223 and 184 majors, Will Hoskin Elliott picked up his number 4 back in 2011. Gee, it's a good finish from Hoskin Elliott. That's what the Pies needed. Deep in the term, they get their second.
Really important because they are going to be selling hope again at quarter time, no question about it. So just to close it down, they'll be saying, hey, we're better off than the Giants were last year. We know what they were last week. We know what they were able to do. So they've shown no sign, and we wouldn't expect it from Collingwood. They've been such an outstanding footy club for 2 or 3 years. And they'll keep presenting themselves and keep giving themselves an opportunity. So inside 50 at the moment. They've been inside 6 times for 2 goals 4. So it's 100% right now.
So that's the positive. That's a bit of the Craig McRae can grab onto and go, right, well, we're getting inside and we're breaking their defence, we're scoring. But also on the other side of that, Chris Fahey going, hey, we need to tighten up our defence here. We've only given up 6, but they're scoring way too easily when they go in there.
So just a handful of seconds remaining in this opening term at the MCG. A rematch of last year's grand finalists. And the team that prevailed on that day, Collingwood, is under severe pressure. They would potentially get a late shot here.
Surely a torpedo here from McCreary.
And McCreary, who can give it a mighty thump, he's going to have to do all of that and more. Surely the barrel will be rolled out here.
Might have been high speed, isn't it, out there?
This could be his application for the longest kick here.
He is giving it everything he can, and unfortunately he's about 10 or 12 metres short.
Don't call us.
Not the best of auditions, but the opening quarter has belonged to Brisbane. Don't forget, though, they led by 30 last week and lost. The margin is 24. Brisbane eyeing to move up to 3rd place if they can win today.
All right, quarter time here at the G, folks, and it wasn't the quarter that the Pies were hoping for. The Lions came out with, well, let's just say they came out full of running. 6-4, 40 leading the Pies 2-4, 16. But the Lions did this last week, and I expect the Pies to come back at some stage. They'll get their run on. Might be the Lions in the first quarter, Pies in the second quarter. Stay tuned for the second quarter. Coming up in just under 5 minutes, let's go and have a look at the stats here. Let's see who's doing what on the stat sheet for your player. Of course, 16-40. It's the Lions by 24. 4 goals isn't much in the game. So I think Collingwood will be pretty happy actually where they're standing at this present time with the domination that the Brisbane Lions have had so far. Will Ashcroft there leads away with 9 disposals. He's had 3 kicks, 6 handballs. He's had a tackle. Dane Zorko, not a bad first quarter from the 2 champs, Zorko and Neil. 8 and 7 respectively. McInerney 7, Josh Dunkley 6. All top 7 for Brisbane. Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe the best for the Pies with Josh Dacos on 5. Logan Morris on 4. Bo McCreary on 4, who had a shot after the siren for about 60 out. Tried the big torpedo barrel. Couldn't quite make the distance, unfortunately. That would have been one for the ages if he could have slotted that one through. Let's keep going down. Lockie Shields, a little bit quiet. 3 touches in that first quarter, although never got too much of an opportunity, as it was mainly down Brisbane's end. Isaac Quainer with 3. Will Parker with 3. Jack Crisp with 3. A lot with 3. Bobby Hill with 3. We need a big game out of Bobby Hill today, does the Pies. We need him firing. He's had the 2 kicks just for 1 behind. Scotty Penrelby, the captain there. Game 402. Just the 2 touches, a little bit quiet. Nick Dacos needs to lift. That's pretty rare to see the champ with just 2 disposals in a quarter. Need him to lift a little bit there. A little bit like Eric Hipwood down there for the Lions. He's only had the 1 touch, 1 kick, no score just at the moment. There are your stats for the players in the opening quarter here. Only a couple of minutes away before the bounce of the ball. Get the second quarter underway. Just the goal scorers for those who are wondering. Kyle Oman and Joey Danaher. Of course, the only multiple goal scorers on the ground. They got 2 each for the Lions. Isaac Quainer, can you believe it? Isaac Quainer comes in with a goal for the Pies. Good stuff. Lockie Neal, Oscar McInerney and Will Hoskinell had all each single goals. Let me roll that up. Just have a quick look at the team stats and we should see the Lions dominating in most of these areas. Disposals on truly on top there at the moment. 93-61. 32 up. Up on the kicks. 23 up there. Handballs the same. Inside 50s as you can see. They just dominated 17-7. 17 inside scoring shots for 10 scoring shots, I should say. 17 inside 50s for 10 scoring shots. Going very well there, the Lions. And of course the Pies going well inside when they get it inside 50 7 times for 6 scoring shots. So quite efficient there, as you can see. Efficiency inside 50s, Pies at 85%. Lions at 70. Both the disposal efficiency not too bad. Free kicks, well, the Lions have had the umpire's whistle all that first quarter, 8-3 in their favour. The hit-outs, Collingwood by 2 there. The clearances, where it can be most important, 11-5. Lions leading the way there. Centre clearances, pretty even. Stoppage clearances, Lions by 5. Contested possessions, a little bit harder at the ball there. The Lions, 39-23 uncontested. Lions, so pretty much everything is dominating by the Lions. All right, let's get back down to the ground. The players are going to be out there in just a minute. Let me scroll this back up. We'll see how long we've got. What about 50 seconds to the bounce of the second ball? Let's just have a quick look at this live ladder, folks. If the Lions win today, they'll move up into 3rd spot behind Sydney and the Giants, who won today. There's Collingwood down there in 12th. Collingwood need to win this to jump up into 10th position for a chance next week to get into the finals. Mathematically, possibility for the Pies to do that. But the Lions looking pretty strong at the moment. But don't write the Pies off, because they're a team that we all know that can come back. All right, let's get back down to the ground for the second quarter. It's the Lions by 24 points.
On the Pies defence, I'm looking at Darcy Moore. He's arguably their best defender. He's their captain. You've got to put him on the most dangerous forward, opposed to playing him on Charlie Cameron and trying to allow him to roll off, Hutto.
Dell, just walking past you there is Jared Berry. And we're just hearing that he has been subbed.
Which I saw him coming from the ground or trying to come from the ground at the end of that quarter. Then he got turned away from the bench. So I'll try and track that down for exactly why, Hutto.
Well, we think their hamstring will follow that up shortly.
Turned away. Come off with a sore hammy and they've turned him away on the bench.
And quickly, fortunes and things can change in this game.
Yeah, it's not the time that you want to be doing a hamstring 3 weeks out from the start of the finals.
McCluggage can't get through Pendlebury, but he's going to get the advantage of a free kick. Scotty in game 4:02. McCluggage to his feet and targets Brain, who lifts up and takes the mark. And he gave Noble a good look, who steps in, short circuits that move forward. You can see, eager to move it quickly to Maynard. Here go the Pies. Now taken by Elliott. He turns, there's nothing long, so short as the go. Into Crisp, and off to the waiting Dacos. And the kick was well shut down, but on the ricochet, it's Noble. He will get it deep. Hoskin Elliott can run, but he doesn't want to stop McStay, who had it covered.
He's going to keep an eye on Nick Dacos, whose first quarter wasn't... Nick set such a high standard. See whether he's gone to half forward here and whether he's going to try and engage Dane Zorko and then give Dane Zorko something to think about. He can't drop off Nick Dacos, which is... We'll just watch it. And these things change, in 20 or 30 seconds. But opposition teams have had some success with that in the past.
6 goals through in his 4 games back from that knee injury against his old team last year. He was goalless in round 4, kick 2, exactly 12 months ago in round 23, and he's on the board here. So the Magpies kicked the goal before the break and afterwards and cut it to 18 points.
They certainly do, and this is exactly what the Giants did. They had that ability to turn the game in that second quarter there. You can see Jared Berry, who's been subbed out, unfortunately, with what we think is a hamstring injury here. But Hoskin Elliott's the other one here, just playing behind Harris Andrews. You see McStay just bobs up in front. The ability for Hoskin Elliott, who is tagging Harris Andrews, to just continue to make sure that Harris has got to keep an eye on him, allows McStay to take that mark.
This just puts a little tiny seed of doubt into Brisbane's mind. Yes, the Giants came out and kicked the first goal and then kicked the next 3. So it's a really important set of clearance.
Not in a week, you don't forget.
Cox looking to get the Pies rolling out of the middle perfectly, absolutely perfectly, the side bottom. So they get the clearance they were after. A couple of men need to talk. Schultz and Elliott, they didn't really communicate with each other. Gee, it was a nice bit of tap work out of the middle.
Centre-bounce clearances start with what started last week as well. It was Peatling, the one that got involved.
Yeah, it was. Who was the onus on there to call in the player?
I would have thought the player behind, definitely.
Here's McCluggage to Dunkley. Again, now you can listen to that Collingwood fans putting behind every little movement now from the Pies. The smother from Elliott.
You mentioned Peatman last week. There's also Brett Daniels as well from that half-forward line that got involved too. So I'm looking at Lockie Schultz at the moment. Obviously got a big role on Zorko to get involved too offensively.
Margin 18, side bottom. And Neil still at close quarters. Dacos is on the move. He's ready for action, but they were ready for him. Well taken down. Still the hunt goes on. Chris, through Elliott, Pendlebury. Even for him, it was too much. Chris maybe held without the footy, maybe?
No. Cheated had Nick Dacos at that last set of mounts, which he's been playing as a forward, essentially. But again, he takes Nick Dacos out.
Jack Crisp is playing his 236th straight game. Incredible number. Dacos just hand passes to space as best he can. Not that there's much there. Can you get your head around that?
It all started at the Lions, of course.
Yeah.
236 games in a row, Jack.
It's a lot of games of footy in a row. It shows the durability, but he's a valuable player to Collingwood. That midfield just gives him a different dynamic being a left footer as well.
Only 8 short of Jimmy now.
July 2014, over a 10-year streak. Schultz takes his time, gets rid of it at the end of Pendlebury. Here's a chance. Look at Scotty right on the line. Had the accuracy, not quite the carry.
That post.
It's wobbling, isn't it?
Hasn't been hit that hard since Lee Matthews was a He-Man.
It's lethal Lee Matthews.
The big Irishman just ran into it.
So the post still wobbling, and Brisbane under a little bit of pressure for the first real time in this game. How's that for a kick in? A low ball got all the way to Dunkley, and now through Bailey. And Charlie Cameron got right at the ground last week. Had 10 disposals in the back half. Got right at the ground this year, more than we've seen before. Howe in front, didn't need anyone to jump over. Good contest from Morris though, kept him honest. Pendlebury's hands were slick. Howe likewise, side bottom, they're starting to chain up, starting to look a bit more like Collingwood. Noble gets it through, Schultz, and now an opportunity for Dacos, breaking clear, the little maestro, inside 50, inside 40, and closing it out, jumping for joy. This is his home ground. He might not be there in September, but he's going to give us something to remember.
He just put the Jets on, Gary.
It's not fair, Jack. It's not fair. He's always been the most skillful player in the competition. Who knew he had wheels like this? Do you know how hard it is to be running as fast as you can possibly run and then balance yourself and kick it? The finger went straight up in the air. That talks to his skill and how everything just stays in line irrespective of how hard he's going. So he's flat out, everything's in line. Ball's there, arms up. Craig McRae goes absolutely nuts, and they're back in at the Pies.
Gary, the arm was nearly in the air before the ball.
He knew. He knew.
That's a moment, isn't it?
Talk about kicking on the run like that. Even just the ability to bounce and not have to decelerate at all. That is such a pure art form.
So last three for Collingwood. Dacos on the board with his first, and possibly the goal of the round. Side bottom, another centre clearance. So exactly as the Giants did, they start to grab it out of the middle. Spiral back in the other direction, works out. From Starcevich to Archie. Dumps a deep ball forward. Hipwood's out of position. This comes from Moore. Collingwood have got the numbers. Pendlebury just sort of floats after the football. The crowd still pointing at each other, discussing the goal from Nick Dacos. An absolute beauty.
Talk about out of position there. Eric Hipwood actually had led up at the ball there, so a little bit of confusion starting to come into the lines, a little bit of panic as well, just trying to get it inside 50, not having it the clean ball movement that they had in that first quarter.
Lions lead down to 11. There's a different feel around the MCG. McInerney to Loman. Outstanding first quarter. They're starting to run into some roadblocks now, otherwise.
Sounds more like a Collingwood game now.
Yeah.
Clearance is where they started to get on top and contest the ball, the two areas that they struggled with.
Old mate's not happy in the crowd. Cox flings the handball. Again, Loman. Sharp's on the ground as the sub, and he kicks it straight into that waiting Collingwood crowd.
So they're doing exactly what they needed to do, and this is a real test for Brisbane. They couldn't have looked any better than they did in that first quarter, maybe only in the first quarter the week prior, and then they got run over the top of. So now it's down to 11 points. The margin had got out to 30, and they're coming Collingwood. Test for Brisbane.
Sidebot made plenty of the footy. Goes short. His premiership teammate Maynard sends all the way down towards the members' wing. The Brisbane players fly against each other. McStay, little rolling hand pass. Wilmot caught by a couple of Pies. Now Collingwood's bringing the heat around the clinches. Again, Crisp goes, and the game's lifted in intensity.
You can see what Collingwood are trying to do. They are just trying to roll forward, get this rolling mole forward. Their half forwards are trying to duck out the back. They just need that little handball, little time off the ground to use their pace.
Rocky Neal, Ashcroft with the desire, the fervent desire, but the handball is a little errant. Maynard will
Sidebottom's got back. Lockie Neal gave him plenty to think about in the first 20 minutes, but he's now got right back on top and had a touch for a while, Lockie Neal.
Cameron has his way to Pendlebury, and they're away again. Elliott, the double fist was effective from Leicester. McCreary couldn't really control what was next.
Rewind back 2 weeks, Gary, and we spoke to Scott Pendlebury in that close game against Carlton. He said they were getting out the front of the stoppage. Carlton were exposing him. At the moment, they've learnt from that, and they are exposing Brisbane out the front of the stoppage. It was Pendlebury there.
Ruckman locked up again. McInerney did his best. Vitell with a poking kick, Dunkley with the constructive hands. McCluggage back to a lunging Hipwood. They looked at each other. Not quite sure who to go and who not to. The three is going Brisbane's way to Hipwood.
Back in the side after a couple of weeks out with a groin issue. True centre wing. In front of the Collingwood fans. Drops it down the flank. Fisted away from Loman, who's had a busy start to the game. 2 goals, 1 in the first term alone.
Gives you some idea of what can happen when a quarter-time break comes around.
184 the first half for Collingwood, and 169 for Brisbane.
Brisbane by 24 points at quarter-time. Collingwood have kicked the last 3 and the only 2 of the term to narrow it back to an 11-point game off the back of some Nick Dacos brilliance. Now Dunkley measures inside towards Hipwood. Howe did well just to get a bit of body on Eric.
If we can isolate that, I know that is just one-on-one defending from Jeremy Howe. Eric Hipwood did the big turn and push to the chest to try and get separation. He doesn't get any separation. Howe stays with him, doesn't get a stat, won't even get shown on a highlight reel. It's just great defending.
Isaac Quaynor's gone to Kyle Lohman as well.
And he's really letting him know just how tight he's watching. There's a few blocks going on here. There is Lohman again, desperate trying to get a handball away. Lipinski keeps him accounted for.
There was the blocker there. Set that the hand over there with Quaynor and Dacos.
Who's going to pop up? Ashcroft was hunting it. A slight fumble from side bottom, no damage by Tell's. Hands were quick enough, and there's a bit going on off the ball, but Lipinski comes away with it in hand. Through Quaynor out to McCreary, and you can hear the expectations rise as they glide along the wing. He batters a few. He's run too far.
Did the right thing too. He came off the line. Brisbane had started to get their numbers in their defence. Line of goal.
Got to go
did the right thing.
Got to go back quick. Got to go quick.
McCluggage looks to do just that, little chiseler forward. Collingwood put themselves in best position. Danaher does really well. Here's Ashcroft. Now to Lohman. Centering ball is clever. McInerney juggles it, spills it when we thought he had it. Lipinski just barrels it out of defence through Bobby Hill. He'll have the toe. Look at him go. Bobby takes on Starcevic. Burns him off, tried to shock her off the ground. Harris Andrews was there playing the role of the goalkeeper. Comes back the other way now through Zorko. Cameron's in best position, does well to drop back and take a good mark.
Nice to drop bottom mark that he should have taken. The difference was when they came out that time, it wasn't Starcevic sitting there on his own. Bobby Hill was close enough to make a contest. They did get a repeat entry, but they structured up much better, Collingwood.
They're the best ruckman for that intercept marking this year in defence is Darcy Cameron. Put it to good use, so there's risk in the side bottom kick. Crisp to Pendlebury. Quick jump and handball from Dacos. A double grab from Moore. Pendlebury forced to handball at close quarters. No room to really manoeuvre through all of that.
You can see that pressure there. Handball misses. Darcy Moore fumbles. This game has gone to the next level in terms of pressure. Brisbane are the 17th worst side at applying pressure this year.
Scoreboard constricting as a result of all of that.
Yeah, and Scott Pendlebury's just had some moments that you don't see Scott Pendlebury have, which gives you an indication of the heat on. He's been caught a couple of times, missed handball then.
Nudge forward from McInerney. Morris being watched by Moore. He's sharp. Wasn't expecting to get on this early. Protecting the goal front was Howe as it slides away for a minor.
It's even Logan Morris there to stand in front of Darcy Moore and just use his body to protect where the ball was going to get another opportunity at Brisbane having a shot on goal.
Brisbane's first score of the quarter.
Now favours the near side with a low punching ball looking for McCreary. Taken away by Wilmot.
9 shots from 10 inside 50s for Collingwood.
The Harris Andrews and Hoskin Elliott matchup has been a huge win for Collingwood. Harris Andrews has had one possession for the game and no influence.
Spot on about Dacos and Zorko as well, Gary. You pointed that earlier on.
Yeah, well, it just now Dane Zorko can't sit in the hole and do whatever he wants. He's got to have absolute attention to the best player in footy.
McCreary got some toe. Just went by hands in hope more than anything else. Side bottom gets Wilmot, gets him cold. Collingwood fans up now. They've kicked the last 3.
Out the front of the stoppage then again for Collingwood. They're exposing them skinny on the ground and out the front.
Side bottom plays on. Doesn't really time the ball forward. Makes it difficult, but well done by Crisp. Marks on Sharp. Says steady him down. He is a long kick of the football, Jack Crisp.
Take his best here, Howie.
It would. 13 goals for the season. He will drift out to the side if he gets the opportunity. Maybe he's looking for the set-up kick. Does just that. Crisp lobs it to the area where the Flyers come. Hoskin Elliott in the end scored it because he knew he couldn't take the mark, and Collingwood swarmed to keep it inside their attack at 50.
The other thing with Nick Dacos playing forward is he will always put himself in the right place to crumb. He was there then, gives him a chance to put defence on, but also gives him a chance to win the ball.
Cameron with a double touch. Down to Dacos. Out of the boot. Like lightning. What will he give us next?
And that's why you go and put him in that position against the Dane Zorko. But have a look at the Jamie Elliott block in amongst this as well. So this is a team that have gone a quarter time and addressed a whole heap of things. Back you go, you're not coming off yet. Have a look at the Elliott block here though. So he gets in here, Elliott. takes Zorko.
Pick up Gaz.
And there's Leicester ends up being opposed to Nick Dacos, which he doesn't want to be. So great coaching from Craig McRae. You've taken away one of the strengths in Zorko. You've filled it in with this man Dacos. And he's now kicked 2 memorable goals, and we're seeing there how they work for each other.
That's a good stoppage, a great stoppage player playing against the player that doesn't play at stoppage very often. Just the ability to drop his body weight a little bit and actually got underneath Leicester to create that sort of bench press style to separate and then read the tap.
And this is why he may just stay there and play forward and have 12 touches and kick 4 and help them win the game. That's another string with the bow.
About the 2 goals he's kicked on the run and a little check side in traffic. Quiet first term, and he's just blown the game in the second to bring Collingwood back into it. He's around the ball now, chasing the other side. His shadow brain picks it up. Forward hand pass. Might work out. No, Quayne's got other ideas.
The other one's been Quayne or to half back. He's just given them that little bit of... He has not been rotating off or anything like that. He's actually gone one-on-one. You asked for it, Gary, and he's locked down Lohman.
4 consecutive goals. It's back to a 6-point ball game. Dacos right up on the wing this time. Crisp in the scrounge. It's McCluggage that gets a quick kick forward, but 2-on-1, and Collingwood's best turn himself is back there. Moore takes the mark to Quayne. He tries to get dangerous, and they're charging through the middle again. Parker comes away, aims up. Hoskin Elliott or McCreary. McCreary can go. Senses a little flip to the inside to Hoskin Elliott. Cox in short. Yep. Can't take it. Great work, Dunkley. Tremendous work, Dunkley. He at least will slow them down. They're going to reload through Bytel. Out to Dacos again. What's he got? A little chip to the inside. No one can quite believe that. Pendlebury certainly can't. He dropped the mark.
Well, it's as staggering as anything else that's happened. These couple of moments that Scott Pendlebury's had, but Dacos and Schultz are the 2 that are just changing off Zorko at the moment and creating all sorts of havoc.
Keep an eye on Dacos. He runs through. He got it again. Nick Dacos for a 3rd in the term.
Wow.
She's burnt sharp off. They couldn't take full advantage. You just can't take your eyes off this man.
But it's great coaching in the modern era, is because players won't lock down on a single player, and they have manipulated the matchup to their mass advantage.
It was left to Henry Sharp in his 15th game to try and mine the son of the marble.
Might be 50 there.
Out on the full, and that will be not 50. I thought they would have paid 50 at the MCG, but they haven't.
Anthony.
Noble. Pointing, all eyes, deep to the goal square. Cox, Elliott. Cox can't. And will not take it over.
Even Harris Andrews is constantly being locked up by Hoskin Elliott there. The umpire was in the perfect position to read that one there.
So Nick Dacos now has got Fletcher as his opponent at this stoppage. His 4th opponent at a stoppage.
Good luck to Jasper because he's on the move again. McCluggage covered. He's got it anyway. Penalty with the setup. That's better from the Lions. Very diligent that time. Bailey, the fumble, the pressure telling on Sharp. Crisp is ready. Had Pendlebury to one side, Dacos to the other. Prolonged appeal, turned down. Oh, what a quarter this is all of a sudden.
Pendlebury the block last time for Dacos here. They're trying to get him out of stoppage, get the mismatch.
Fletcher's got the massive job. Well tapped by Cameron, looking for the corridor. Chris throws it up in the air. Sharp needs to get rid of it. Cox nearly tracked him down. Maynard with a bit of physical presence. Hip, we haven't seen much of him. Now a chance for Lohman. 2 in the first term. To Rayner being quiet. The Pies gang tackle him. Parker and Noble stop any forward movement from the Lions.
Cam Rayner's had 2 possessions. No impact whatsoever. Big stage. He's got to insert himself into this contest.
There he subbed off at quarter time at a hamstring. The tide has turned Collingwood's way. That man is in everything. Dacos starts it. Tumbling through with Schultz.
Is it possible that Nick Dacos watched Isaac Keaton last night and said, geez, he can have a quiet first quarter and explode.
And what a noise the explosion has made. He's waiting on the outside. No one next to him, can you believe?
Anthony, isn't it staggering There is no hotter player on that ground right now, and he just drifted himself out the back of that stoppage.
8 disposals, 2 goals, 4 score involvements in this quarter alone. Cameron gets a little closer. Hill will be dangerous. We know he can be very dangerous. Brisbane know how dangerous he can be. 4 goals in the first half of the grand final last year. 35 metres out is where things will get back in motion.
How good's the footy? Collingwood coming 4 goals down at quarter time. There's Dacos again. Whips it across to Elliott. McCreary goes out further wide. Bytel. Elliott just tries to chip a little ball, and it works out to Parker.
He's running rings around him at 450 stoppage at the moment, Nick Dacos. Dane Zorko is yelling at Fletcher to get on him. He's playing on Lockie Schultz, but this mismatch at the moment, they're just putting Dacos at as many stoppages as they can, and then he's rolling forward.
9 possessions, 2 goals, 4 score involvements for the quarter.
Hasn't kicked an AFL goal. Will Parker debuted in Sheffield Shield for Victoria as a 17-year-old in front of the Shane Warne stand. Parker will not kick his first AFL goal.
So it'll be a quick reprieve for the Brisbane Lions as Nick Dacos has come to the bench for a well-deserved rest. He'd been trying to get off for the last couple of minutes. They kept turning him away and saying, no, we need more of you, please.
That sounds logical to me, Dal. 8 minutes remaining. Brisbane win the footy. Hipwood decides to press go, and so does Rayner. Nothing can stop him when he's got full rage mode, except the bad bounce. He recovers well to Morris, who just rips the kick inside 50. Asked a lot of linemen. The desperation more on all fours. Came in support, Maynard. Eyes are going again. Pendlebury sends it wide. Schultz asking the ball to behave. It does. Now it's a one-on-one. He just handled along the line. Last week that was sometimes...
I think he got hit. Might have got hit on the way.
That took a Shane Warne bounce, that one. That went sideways.
This is just so impressive from Collingwood. They've been able to gather themselves. Like, halfway through that first quarter, it could be mistaken for thinking, oh, well, that's the season done. Yet they've refused to concede. They've dug in here, and the contest is at its fiercest.
Wonderful game of footy. Archie, slick. Brain. And as far as Howe, it's off Loman. Jeremy Howe, defensive flank. Looked to the interior momentarily, didn't see any lights. It just goes short to Josh Dacos. He goes further to Noble.
Locking here 1 possession for the quarter. So matchup, as the ball goes out of bounds, matchup-wise, Collingwood have got it back on their terms. So Sidebottom's dominating that matchup. Harris Andrews is having no impact. Cam Rayner's having no impact in the game. So the 3 hottest players probably for them in recent times, no impact.
And when they do move it forward, Howe and Moore are commanding figures at the moment with their intercept work. Brisbane by 5. Cameron looking to hand it off to Nick Dacos is back out there. McCluggan's handled it to Mr. Nobody. There was absolutely nothing there for him. But somehow he's able to seduce it, win it back. Morris thumps it deep. Opportunity for Cameron. Awkward. Uncomfortable for Parker. Has to dig in here, the youngster, and find something. Cameron to dictate. Flicks it back to Sharp. He wants it back, Charlie. He gets it back. He gets it towards goal, but Maynard was there. To Sidebottom. Wasn't perfect, but the job will be done. Now Frampton. Still some moments. Maynard gets a kick and keeps it in short and tight for Noble. Under immediate stress, but strong enough to see off McClung. It's the first time and the second. A neat little step. And then a third as Ashcroft approached. And didn't he do it well in the end?
Too easy though, really. They can nail one of them.
Played by Johnny Noble. Dacos is on the short lead. Why wouldn't you kick to him?
Charlie Cameron would love that again with Will Parker under the footy, 1 out, 15 metres out from goal. That's a magnificent result for Collingwood.
How long was Nick Dacos off the ground for?
I reckon about 3 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Recharge him and get him back on. We want more.
Now to his brother. Dumps it. Shallow entry inside 50. Cox comes from the side. Starcevic had a bit of time. Didn't use it. Just barreled it any way he could out of defence. Important ball to be won. Centre wing. Well done by Maynard. See what Josh Dacos was trying to do. I'd get the bounce towards Maynard. It's across the line. So it was Brisbane leading by 4 goals after kicking the first 4 of the match at quarter time. Collingwood kicked the last 3. In fact, the last 4 and only 3 of the term to bring it back to a 5-point margin.
It's the sort of stuff we've had to get used to in 2024. The tap from McInerney. And the Hunters on again. Dacos hounded by Dunkley. Who wins an important little battle here for Brisbane. There's no such thing as a little battle at the moment, is there? They're all important. Terrific work, Rayner and Neil, but the constructive work comes undone. Off quickly from Maynard to Josh Dacos to Schultz. Hoskinelli at his goal side. He comes back up to find the footy. Leicester spoils legally. Now they scrap. Leicester did it really well.
Oh,
To Andrews, who could go no further. They are baying for blood.
Oh, they'll be filthy down there in the forward pocket. Harris Andrews just fell over the line and took away the hold of the ball. 1 minute 44 was how long Nick Dacus was off the ground to recharge.
Yeah, he didn't try and do anything.
That is holding the ball, Gary.
That is holding the ball, Jack.
According to the men that count, although 2,000 Collingwood fans might disagree, McInerney, Brain, Ashcroft, they're swarming the Pies. They come again through Lipinski. Noble looking for a sneaky target. Oh, look who it is. He's kicked one on the run. He's kicked one out of deep congestion, and now Nick Dacos is looking for a third for the turn with some set shot magic.
You'll be surprised if he doesn't kick it in the form that he's in. I think it has to be Dunkley. I know Fletcher at the moment's got the role. I just think he's just got to go to Josh.
Goes short. Much to the disappointment of the crowd, doesn't quite hit Schultz. His 12th touch for the quarter. The whole of the MCG wanted him to have a shot.
It's all Collingwood here, though. They are setting up. This has been an absolute turn of the tables here. It was Brisbane that was setting up the wall behind in the first quarter. It's been Collingwood here in this second quarter that just got their defence up and going.
Josh Dacos. Brisbane have got the dominant position, and Harris Andrews has done so many times, comes out and swallows the footy.
Andrews, that is super short.
Yeah. They just got to get some composure back into the game here, the Brisbane Lions, because Collingwood want it up tempo. They want this game in flow. Try and turn the ball over and go.
Kicked the only 3 goals of this second term. Ashcroft doesn't like what was ahead. Back to Joyce.
And they are a marking team, Hutto. They can spend a lot of time with ball in hand and just take some heat out of it. But
Opposition teams know that as well, I don't know.
Pies have gone to work on it.
They forced the long kick down the line. Rayner waiting at the front of this, but there's no front because Cameron will snatch it out of the air. Off to Dacos again, but Josh, who settles, wants to keep the switch going. He's prepared to give up a bit of ground to get it back to Howe. See how quickly he wanted to move that on to Noble. On the MCC wing, he plays it into side bottom. Hoskinelli waiting, just lurking in the pocket. Wants it long down the line. Bobby Hill is where he was positioned when he took that big grab in September. But there's a fair bit of opposition between the footy and him at the moment, and the kick was designed instead for Jamie Elliott. Wilmot does well.
You mentioned slowing the game down. Brisbane are 9-0 when they take over 100 contested marks. At the moment, only 36.
Prowling around the coach, hands in pocket. It's a cool afternoon of the early evening at the MCG. Seen their 5-goal advantage, cut to 5 points. Tap down McInerney, hunting his side bottom. Neil. Sharp, the ball keeps finding him. He's done pretty well, gets it back to the wing. And Morris, a fellow youngster.
A contested mark by Morris on Howe. Needs to get back. Howe needs to get back. Eventually acknowledges the umpire. Back to a 5-point margin after Brisbane led by 4 goals at quarter time after kicking the first 4 of the match. Sets it up down the line. Rayner hasn't been a factor to date. Cameron and McInerney. Agricultural tackle, got him a touch high.
First set free kicks to Brisbane, and it's been all Collingwood since then. Start to get the rub of the green when the game starts to go your way.
A great season as the Collingwood ruckman. Tugs the ball a touch. Noble threw a hand on it, but not enough.
McCluggage invites a leap, and no one likes an invitation to a marking party better than this man, Jeremy Howe. Beyond 250 games, but nothing will stop him flying for his marks. He kicks back along the wing with 1:30 remaining. And McStay in his aerial prowess drags it down. Missed out on September glory last year.
See the intercept marks there. That gives you a sign of the way that Collingwood want to play the game. 8-1 this quarter.
Plays it for Elliott to fly, and Hoskin Elliott. Schultz and Noble at ground level. Bailey a fumble. Fletcher runs straight into Pendlebury. And the grinds to a halt again with just over 60 seconds left.
Collingwood have been able to maintain the corridor side of the stoppage and at contests alike, forcing Brisbane to come through skinny, so that's given them the chance to get those intercept marks.
Jack Rewald alongside Gary Lyon, Anthony Hudson, Nick Del Santo on Saturday Twilight Football. Berry subbed out the end of the first team with a hamstrings. The Sharp came in and Long is the non-utilised sub at this point for the Pies. Under a minute on the clock. It's been Nick Dacos' turn. Lit up the MCG with 2 fantastic goals. One you'll see everywhere tonight. Noble spirals the ball forward. Touch ball, Zerko tries to get through. Schultz. Rayner does get through them all. Chance now for Sharp. He just barrels it forward. Straight to Jeremy Howe, who's in perfect position, marks it, and he'll send it back the other way in a hurry.
Look who's still running out on the wing. Nick Dacos, his 13th disposal. Still wants to impact late in the quarter. There's time for either team. Parker goes hard at it. And Bytel and Josh Dacos. Rayner equally matching that effort the other way, but gives it straight up to Quaynor. And Dacos will take and give in one motion. Out to Bytel. And then to Bobby Hill. Clock is his enemy. He doesn't realise it. Steps to the inside. This has to be perfect, and it's far from it. Zorko does enough. Brisbane is still in front, but their lead has been eroded down to 5 points, and largely due to that man, Nick Dacos. 2 magnificent goals in that second quarter, and all sorts of headaches for Chris Fagan. Brisbane lead by 5 points. We're going to get down to Nick Del Santo, who's about to catch up with Jack Crisp.
Well, Jack, that was one hell of a second quarter after a challenging first quarter. What was said at quarter time and how'd you get that done?
Yeah, the second quarter was obviously real good pressure. I think that's what got us back in the game. We got out 100 in the first quarter. But to see just repeat forward 50 entries, just repeat stoppages, put the pressure on, got a few snags. But yeah, the contest was hot for most of that quarter.
What are you making of the midfield battle? Clearances, contested possession down in that first quarter, but also the combination of Neil and Dunkley. How's that working out?
Yeah, no, they got their jump on us, I think. But yeah, the contest worked great. I think that stepped up in the second quarter. Obviously, you saw Nick have a massive second quarter there, really set the tone for us, I think.
Incredible. All the very best for the second half. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Nick and Jack. Well, he mentioned Nick Dacos, a relatively, by his standards, quiet first term. He lit up the second half of the MCG. Kicked 2 goals. And that was the best of them. On the run, a couple of bounces. And he's brought his team right back into it. Half-time, the MCG, Brisbane lead, Collingwood in the grand final, rematch by 5 points.
Halftime show coming up. Stay hunky, you reckon? We'll wait for the commentators to come back. Hopefully they'll give us a few thoughts on what they're thinking of this match so far. But I'll tell you what, the Pies came back well in that second quarter. And folks, it was the Dacos show, the Nick Dacos show. What a superstar he is. Tell you what, I'm so glad the Pies have got him. Fantastic. It would have been nice though just to see if we could get one more goal late in that quarter to hit the front. But that being said, after the domination of the Lions in the first quarter, it was domination of the Pies in the second quarter, even though it was just 3-2. They held the Lions to 1 behind only, which was great. The pressure gauge was up at about 255, 260. It was definitely off the charts for the Pies in that second quarter. So, you know what? It's going to be truly interesting to see what happens in this third quarter. Who comes out hard? Who wants this more? Because there's a lot on the line for both teams. There's a mathematical chance that the Pies can still make the 8 and reach the finals if they win their final 2 games and all the other matches go their way. And the Lions, well, they're looking for a top 2 spot. As we see here, they'll go to 62. No, they'll go to 58. This is the live ladder. So they're a chance at going top 2 if they can win today and next week. So what a game. I tell you what, he definitely is a masterclass of course. Good sister, bad sister, how you going? We can do it, your own halftime commentary. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I do a little bit while the commentators aren't there. We just go through and have a look at some of the stats and all that, of course, see what's happening in the stats ways and the team stats, see what's happening, see if they're leveled up. I'm pretty sure the team stats would have leveled up a little bit through, well, let's just say the domination of both sides in each first and the second quarter. I want to say g'day to Ryan, who popped in here. Ryan, how you going, Squire? Good stuff, good stuff. And of course, Taddy was in there. And big mega love shout out. Welcome to my manager. That's T-Name Bem Bem, folks, in the chat. Don't forget, say hello to the manager, my manager over there, T-Name. She's a star. Starting off the season was a bad start for the Pies. Well, you know what? It certainly was. I think starting off the season was both bad for Collingwood and Brisbane. I think they both had... They had about 5 losses in a row, didn't they, each? So that really didn't start it off well. And I think through the course of the season, I think with Collingwood having their abundance of injuries, you know, I think they've done pretty well where they are at the moment through having a lot of their good players out. Whereas the Lions, they're pretty well held a full squad most of the season. They're doing it right at the right time of the year. And as I said, if the Pies had their full list, you know, I'm sure that they'd be well and truly in the top 8, you know, vying for, you know, top 4 position without a shadow of a doubt. Well, let's have a little bit of a look at the players' stats. You like McRae? I expect Woods to figure next season. I think so. I think they'll definitely be there. You know, I mean, it's the same with all teams. If they're healthy, you know, if they're healthy and they got their squad, they're the teams that's, you know, holding up the trophy at the end of the day. Usually anyway. So there we go. Yeah, he seems all right, McRae. He's a very likeable fella. DeGoey, that's right. Sad to lose him. So he's out for the year. So yeah, he's been plagued with a few troubles. So it hasn't been good to see him out. And of course, my check's been out. If the Pies get through, you'll see everyone going to breathe in their bum. Just saying, that's quite possible. Quite possible. But there we go. Nick, hang on. Let me get back down to the ground. We'll see what the commentators have got to say quickly before we come back.
Collingwood, the reigning premiers, Gaz, with a tiny little whisker of hope to play finals this year, have found their way back into this game.
I thought you were going to say a tiny little man in the middle of the ground. He's Nick Dacos. He's not tiny in any way, shape or form. Look, you come along and watch games of footy and sometimes you just turn to each other and you go, wow, have a look at that. And there were 5 or 6 wow moments from Nick Dacos in that quarter alone.
They certainly were, and it probably came off the back that Dane Zorko dominated the first quarter. And rather than what to become the modern day tag, they thought, well, let's put our smartest player on Dane Zorko because we can expose him getting forward. Lockie Schultz did it a little bit in the first quarter, so they sent Nick Dacos to him. And look at that, 83 ranking points, number 1 for the match, Gary. 16 touches, 2 goals. He has done absolutely everything.
And look at that. You saw the coach jump off the bench. And what it does, it sends a message to the rest of the team, we're in this. And then Elliott starts to get involved with the block and he kicks the miracle goal from a stoppage. And then the next 3 stoppages, there were 3 different players that tried to quell him. They couldn't. Dunkley has to go to him after half-time and just see whether he can quiet him down because he has got the measure of every other player on the ground right now. It was an extraordinary quarter of footy.
Yeah, it throws a punch back to the Brisbane Lions is the fact that now they have to change their setup behind the ball. Josh Dunkley would not feel safe playing in the back line.
Side bottom also to Lachie Neale. So you go to the other side of the coin. Their starter, their heart and soul player, Lachie Neale, had 6 possessions inside the first 10 minutes of the game, and now he's at 11, and still side bottom has worked his way back in. So you got the young superstar having a big say in proceedings, and the old bloke who says, let me go to the opposition side's number 1.
Well, held Errol Gordon to 1 touch in that first quarter last week against the Sydney Swans. I reckon side bottom was feeling his way out here, and sometimes as a tagger, the best way you can do it is actually to put you want to win the ball. Now, he was very focused on Lachie Neale early on, but Sidebottom's got back. You can see there's been able to find the ball himself. He's actually making Lachie Neale play on him.
And a little injury concern too for the Brisbane Lions. So Berry, one of their really important players who maybe would have been the man to go to Nick Dacos, he's off the ground with a hamstring. Now they're telling us it's not
a serious hamstring, but who would know? They don't tell you much at this time of the year. But he certainly is off the ground. He's got the strapping on and will play no further part.
Yeah, he won't. So, and I think Collingwood have been smart with the way they've played today. Also, they've tagged Harris Andrews from the back half with Will Hoskin-Elliott. So this Berry one, I think it just throws their sink out of way. Like at the moment, they need that tagger, and they don't have him sitting downstairs in the change rooms.
It's a privilege to be here tonight. 2 games out from the start of the final series. We'll take a break. David Cedar to join us on the other side of the break with all of the news from today's action.
All right, we're back. That was just a couple of words, of course, from a couple of the commentators there. Gary Lyon was one of the commentators there with the ex-Tiger star. God, what's his name? I can't remember. I can't think of his name now. People underrate side bottom. I tell you what, he does do good. He does do good side bottom. As I said there, he's playing great today. When he's hard of the ball, he's good. But sometimes he just looks a little bit lazy, and it's as though he expects other players to do it, so he gets the ball and just sort of delivers it out. But yeah, tonight he's doing great. The other player we're missing that's really instrumental in our midfield is Tommy Mitchell. Tommy Mitchell, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't seen him for, I don't know, has he played this season? I think he's out for, he's older now, he's been great. You can't doubt that. He's great both sides of his body when he kicks and handballs, etc. like that. He's a great leader, so still lucky. I'm pretty sure he'll go on next season. Just like Pendlebury, I think he'll go on for another season or 2 without a doubt. Pendlebury's, he's playing as good a footy as ever. He's just, he's just got that footy brain that's, that you got to be born with. It's hard to be taught that type of stuff that, the Pendles does. Now, where was I? Let's get back to these stats and have a little bit of a look. Nick Dacos, there we go. What did he have? 14 touches, I think, in that second quarter. Pretty sure he only had 2 in that first quarter. But there we go. What a monster quarter Nick Dacos had. He brought the Pies right back into the game. Thank you very much, Dacos. You're a star. 16 disposals, 9 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks, 3 tackles. I can't quite see the clearances there at the moment. 2 goals, 1. What a big quarter from him. Hugh McCluggage going well there for the Brisbane Lions. Good to see him up and about doing well. Josh Dacos, Nick's brother, he's doing just as well. I'll tell you what, they're a dynamic duo, the Dacos brothers, taken after their father, that is for sure. 15 touches, 10 kicks, 5 handballs, 6 marks. Josh Dunkley going well, still side bottom, they're still 13 touches, so he's having a pretty good game. 8 kicks, 5 handballs, 1 mark. So he's tackling well. He's had 6 tackles, which is good to see. The old boy getting in there and doing it all. Johnny Noble giving a good run off the back there. He's always a pretty reliable player there. Always happy to have Johnny Noble there in the side. Jeremy Howell's going well. A couple of hangers he's taken. 12 kicks. He's taken 9 marks. Quite a few intercept marks there, so he's doing well. Will Ashcroft there with 13. Scotty Pendlebury, the old boy, gained 402. Collingwood captain there, 12 touches, directing his side well. Lockie Neal, just 11, and Zorko with 10. They probably both need to lift a little bit there for the Lions if they want to come out. Usually that's what happens, those 2 blokes. They get going and they can cause some real damage. Braden Maynard's going well, defensively wise, with 9. We'll just run down a little bit there. Darcy Cameron's having a reasonably good game with 8 disposals, 17 hit-outs. Lockie Schultz has been a little bit quiet, hasn't had much chance with the ball. I think the Cats are playing tomorrow. They're playing St Kilda, I think. So I think they're actually playing tomorrow. And I think that's at Marvel Stadium. You see Knights, Jezza, Gaza and Winmar, however, is the best mark I've seen. Whoever is the best mark I've seen. I don't know. I think the one the one mark that's always shown, which is just the pure footy mark, is Jezelenko, your beauty, that one. But Peter Nice was a great mark. Oh, Jeremy Howe. Oh, yeah, Howe. Tell you what, Howe is like he has wings. He loves to fly, and he does take those big grabs. Joey Danaher, 7 touches. He's kicked 2 goals, 1. Charlie Cameron, not too much influence in this game so far. And there was another player there, and I just can't think of his name. Rayner, I think. Where's Rayner? Let me have a little bit of a look for Rayner. He's been actually a little bit quiet. Where's he for Brisbane? There we go. 7 touches. He's been one of their guns in the past half a dozen weeks, but he's having a quiet one tonight with just 7. So the Lions have still got some of their big guns there if they need to break this game open. But can the Pies hang on? Let's just go up. We'll have a look at the goal scorers. Who's kicking all the goals in this match? And we've got 3 players, all on 2. Lohman, Danaher for the Lions, and of course Nick Dacos with 2 goals in that second quarter. Isaac Quaynor, Lockie Neal, McStay, McInerney and Hoskin Elliott all with singles. The AFL fantasy points, let's have a little bit of a look at that, see who's on top. Hard to imagine. It's Nick Dacos up there with 75. Pretty good scoring points there so far if you play the game. Jeremy Howe, Josh Dacos, Darcy Cameron, 58. Still side bottoms up there with 56, and the best for the Lions, Hugh McCluggage on 53. Let's have a little bit of a look at the team stats. That should have evened itself out, and it looks like it pretty much has. 3 disposals now in favour of the Pies. Kicks equal. 3 disposals are in the handball. Inside 50s. Let's have a look. Collingwood's been inside 50 20 times for 11 scoring shots. And the Lions 26 times inside 50 for 11 scoring shots. So 11 scoring shots each of 2. But the Pies a little bit more efficient when they go inside 50. 68% each of 2 disposal efficiency for the match. So both just a fraction under their average, and the inside 50s, both teams above their average. Free kicks. As I said in the chat, I tell you what, it looks like the umpires have put the whistle away for the Pies. They should have got a few extra free kicks there that were quite visible to not just anyone watching a game, the supporters, and everyone except for the umpire. 11-5, Lions way for the free kicks. The hit-outs, Pies on top there. They're doing a good job. 26-19. Hit-outs are okay, but the clearances are where you want to win the ball, mostly from the hit-outs. And the Lions by 3 in that department. Centre clearances, Collingwood taken over in that by 2. 6-4, stoppage clearances, Lions by 5 in that. I know, the free kicks, did you see it? 11 free kicks Brisbane, 5 free kicks for the Magpies. I tell you what, it's not too much for a half of football when you're watching the game. I tell you what, it did look like it should have been a fair bit more than that. Contested possessions, not a great deal of difference. 64-72, 106, 103 uncontested. Turnovers, 30-34. That's about right for the game. Both teams had 1 quarter of full pressure, where their pressure was up around 250 in the first quarter for the Lions, and about the same for the Pies, 250, 260 in the second quarter for the Pies. So that pressure gauge was super high. Time in possession for the match. Well, the Lions have had more possession in this game so far up until halftime. 54-31. Of course, the last 10 minutes, pretty much the same. The marks, Collingwood by 10 marks. Marks inside 50, which we love to see. It means they're hitting their targets, lowering their eyes, finding their open space. 6-7. So both sides getting enough of the ball. Marks inside 50. Contested marks 5-2. Here's the score. Let's have a little bit of a look at the tackles. There we go. The tackles. The Magpies bringing the heat. 38 tackles, well ahead of the Lions, just on 23. They need to lift that game, that bit of pressure put on the Pies, and that'll cause a few more turnovers, etc. Tackles inside 50. Pies doing that well inside their forward 50. You do need that good forward pressure. 9-4. The 1%ers, pretty similar. 16-22. The Lions doing fractionally better then. That's it. Massive quarter coming up. Not too far away. The vision hasn't come back. The commentators haven't come back. So I'm just hanging there just for a moment. We've got about a minute to go. There we go. It's the Lions, 6-5-41, leading the Pies, 5-6-36 here at the MCG. What is this worm going to look like? I tell you what, it's a pretty dominating worm when you have a look at it, that Brisbane dominated that first quarter, and then it was just all the Pies. And of course, it was a little bit stalemate the last few minutes of that last quarter. We had it down there. We had chance to get a late goal, but couldn't quite do it, as I said, which would have been good. But, you know, you're right. It's going to be a massive third quarter. Normally the premiership quarter is the third quarter, but we'll see what happens. All right, folks, the players are out on the ground. They're milling around. We're just about going to go back down. We might as well go back down to the ground now and hear the final couple of words of the Brisbane coach.
We were changing the angles and opening the game up, and that's why we were able to score. So we dropped away from that, and they picked up their pressure.
One other thing that changed was Nick Dacos' second quarter. Do you do something different in regards to how you play him or a particular player against him?
Yeah, we had a chat about that at half-time. I mean, in the first quarter we did a great job on him, and the same blokes didn't do such a good job in the second half. So that's the sort of player Nick is. We'll just double down on what we were trying to do in that first quarter and see how that goes.
Thanks, Dakes. All the very best.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Great to get the insights of the Brisbane coach on a similarity to last week against the Giants. Kicked the first six goals in the opening term here today. Only one behind in the second quarter, and a lot was to do with the turnaround in form of the champ Nick Dacos, who kicked two and almost could have kicked four. He kicked it behind and didn't take another shot at one stage.
Yeah, it was interesting that Chris Fagan said they had the same players playing on him in the first quarter and the second quarter. It looked like Dacos actually went forward and still attending centre bounce, but then from there he's swapping with Schultz, and Schultz is coming up. So at the moment, I think Dunkley's the man. Gary's put it on the agenda. Go with him at centre bounce and stay with him all over the ground. He's having too big of an impact to let him run around free.
Rayner's gone into this centre bounce. He was really quiet in that first half. He needs to get busy.
Brisbane by 24 at quarter time, 5 at the major break. There is Dunkley, the number 5, right next to Nick Dacos. What a term of football that was. Cox doesn't really have the ability to access the ruck contest. Rayner, the clearance. So he starts in the middle, as Gary says. They drive down to Hipwood. Good fly, a bit of pushing. Joe's got his hands up expecting the free kick, and that's exactly what happens, much to the anger of Collingwood fans. Kick 2 in the first term, did Joe.
Well, centre bounce clearance becomes so important in a modern game. Gives you a look at it one-on-one. Joe started this game like a house on fire and then couldn't find it in the end. There's so much in that, actually. Need to have a look at it again. So once that arm goes around, some umpires play it, some don't. He's 50-50 from here, Joe. He's about 60-40 from the boundary, and the rest's a raffle.
Billy Frampton still shaking his head. The third of the evening for Joe Danaher from directly in front. Just turns around and casually makes his way back. Perfect start for the Lions.
So that's what Cam Rayner needs to do, and it's good coaching. Get the man that's been really hot in recent times into the action. He gets an initial touch on it, gets involved again, and drives it in deep, and then gets, you're putting pressure on the defence now. That arm around there from Frampton's going to get called more often than not, and that's fair enough. So centre bounce clearance, so critical. Rayner gets a say, gets a look, and gets a say early in the game. And importantly, Joe goes back and splits the middle.
Up to 48 goals for the season now. Played on each other in round 3. Just kicked the 1 goal on Frampton, but he's got away so far. Started the game well, and he started the second half with a goal. Little goal kicker out there now. The tap from Cox, the little poke forward from Zorko, and it's paid a mark to Pendlebury. Zorko looks a little uncomfortable. He kept going to a halt quickly, maybe just lost the boot.
He's playing on this man, so
Rubs salt in the wounds, doesn't it?
Summed that up well, Dacos. Realised he could turn, get it in there quick to McStay. Clear path to the footy, and there's a free kick paid, and it's going Collingwood's way.
Well, goes both ways, I guess. We'll have to have another look at it, Jack.
Top of the arm, maybe. But at the moment, Harris Andrews looks lost at sea the way they're playing, and still Hoskin Elliott trying to get out the back. Harris Andrews trying to get to McStay and impact that contest, but they're splitting him nicely. So Andrews off that contest there and comes in late. Oh, maybe just got him high there as well from McStay. But McStay's been one of the amazing stories of the year, obviously the ACL, but the way he's jumping at the ball, it's been awesome.
Yeah, he's made a significant difference to the way they look. Unfortunately, he can't capitalise, and that could still be the most important element of the game in this second half. It's a 10-point margin as Zorko brings it back in with pinpoint accuracy to Wilmot.
Darcy Wilmot camped in defence. The holds up pretty well. The Pies forward of the footy, so has to kick to a contest. Seen a great deal of Mason Cox. McInerney brings it to ground. And Pinsky, hopeful hand pass towards Sharp. On for Berry, who had a hamstring issue. Danaher's got room galore out the back. He's got Charlie ahead of him. He might not need it. Can he pick it up? Joe, he might overrun it now. Comes Howe. Arrives on the scene. Just didn't pop up for Joe. And in the end, he's done with the footy.
That is such a Joe thing to do. Yeah, Charlie Cameron out the back.
Charlie just needed to duck back up on him, but it also proves that Nick Dacos running at full pelt, having a couple of bounces as well. We're sort of go, oh, that must be Nick Dacos. Joe Danaher couldn't do it there, but how on earth did he get free by himself ahead of the ball? He had too much time.
Yeah, well, getting free was a smart bit of the play. Not too much in the end.
Maynard to Cox in full stride. Nice take and a little give to Josh Dacos. Has a bit to negotiate here. The hands were effective to side bottom. It goes the inverted torpedo. Paramat was the distance to get through the muck. Well done from Joyce, and the handballs are chained up from Brisbane's way. McCluggage to Lohman. Fired it out to Wilmot. Full speed ahead, and Danaher this time has the luxury of waiting. Cameron is begging for it, but no. He's going back to the square, and again Joe says no.
I reckon if Joe Danaher's taken that mark from Charlie Cameron, now I know Charlie thinks he's out. I would be telling him to settle down, because that's when Joe's at his worst, when he gets in that brain rush. We've just seen it a minute ago. Go back and take your set shot. You've nailed one already this quarter. This is a big moment, especially for Brisbane, just to kick straight after the McStay miss.
Under siege in the second term, the Lions. Danaher's kick, though, is not going to get there, and it's not on line anyway. Moore improvised pretty well to get it across the line.
Slipped over to the mirth of his teammate, Jeremy Howe, did Darcy Moore. The man from Dodgers Ferry goes short. Josh Dacos. Presenting up the middle, so it looks down in McQuarrie's direction. McStay.
And Jack, I know you've mentioned Hoskin Elliott's role multiple times today. He's doing a brilliant job. So even those long down the lines, he just subtly drifts in front of Harris Andrews, so he can't even run and jump at the football to isolate whether McStay or it might be a ruckman long down the line. He's doing a great job to nullify that role.
Lions can get to provisionally third, and then Barrack against Port Adelaide in Geelong tonight. Handball from Dacos to side bottom, reeled it in well. Beckons his teammates to come, but McStay a step behind. Dacos has kept on running. Sharp. Dunkley with real momentum. The handball to Ashcroft, and then the give to Rayner. Couldn't get it back to him quick enough. Well played, though. Ashcroft gets it wide. And now McInerney, the big arc as he runs around. Danaher and Cameron are both there. In the air, it's Joe! We're seeing all of Joe Danaher. The good, the bad, the in-between.
Keep watching, Anthony. Anything can happen here. But the ball movement off half-back is the most encouraging thing we've seen in this third quarter from the Brisbane Lions. The way they've shared it by hand out of this back half particularly. Dunkley's been super important in it. That is what you want to see if you're a Brisbane Lions supporter. That and Joe going back into it.
His sixth shot for goal coming up. 3 goals won and one that didn't make the distance. But the bottom line is Joe Danaher has kicked 4 now. And Brisbane's lead is back out to 17.
It's a great point you make, Gary, about that wave and running in momentum. We saw it in the first quarter, but when you get turnover, everyone has to go. You can't just think, I'm just going to rely on the halfbacks to get involved. It's everyone here. So gets it up. Dunkley gets on the move. He's been fantastic here, but this sort of remaining connected actually gives you a chance to win the ball and run it forward. If they do turn it over, then they can put pressure on. I love this kick from McInerney. Isolated that one deep. Danaher going back with fly, and the ability for Charlie Cameron there to create the space for Danaher to come back in as well.
Dunkley and Rayner getting involved. really important. The ball movement, the hands, they're getting in deep. It's been a much better look from Brisbane this first couple of minutes.
Nick Dacos with a couple of goals, 96. Joe Dana has kicked 4 on the only 2 of the second half to take the 5-point half-time Brisbane lead out to 17. So now it's Collingwood again under pressure. They give up the first 4 goals of the match. McCluggage, Zorko squeezes the ball forward. Lohman might be infringed. And the flick could go the way of the number 3 Pie, Cranewell.
Collingwood have got to throw a punch back here the other way. They need the frenetic game that they had in that second quarter.
Dacos looks towards the middle. Elliott provides something short. Well weighted to Jamie. Goes back to Nick. Why wouldn't you? Thought about the outer side. Just presumed he wouldn't be tackled. But Lohman did a good job in the end to restrict the hand pass forward. And Brisbane swamped them.
I know you want to give it to Nick Dacos as much as you possibly can. But Nick's got to be really smart about when calling for the ball. You have to see the play ahead to make sure that even he can make the decision.
Yeah, great call, Jack. He's back alongside Zorko, about 15 metres off the play. About to come into it from the Schultz handball. Had Noble the outside. Bailey prevailed and did it with tremendous skill. And Zorko the same, out to the wing. Sharp not advantaged by the bounce of the ball. Good, strong stuff from both teams. And again, the clever tackle applied there. Schultz.
5-on-1 there. That's how important it was that Bailey, I think it's Bailey's, yeah, he takes the tackle. And a good contest from Quainer as well.
Schultz was on the move, couldn't take it with him. Crisp also grounded the tackle into the damp MCG turf. It's the Lions, the only 2 goals of the quarter, and their lead is 17.
Cameron McInerney, side bottom, spiked it like a volleyball. Back towards McCluggage, getting busy this turn. Shrugs off one tackle. Perfect kick to Eric on the lead. He's got Joe deep with a hot hand. And he goes short. Works out in the end of Bailey. They'll still be looking down towards Joe. Frampton and Joe wrestle and push. Frampton's on the ground for the moment. They come back to Hipwood. Now Joe's on the lead. Eventually they go there again. Frampton does well, but Lockie kneels in the right area. Look at the Brownlow medalist. Swoops on it. Kicked the first of the match, and he's now got 2. And Brisbane have kicked the opening 3 of the second half.
We can see just the way Brisbane are moving the ball inside 50, Gary. The second quarter was all about high-pressured ball movement, which allowed Collingwood to drop off and play to their strengths. We know that Howe and Moore are elite intercept markers. Here now we're looking at lower entries so far. So Joe Danaher's been on a couple already. Even that kick there, just low out in front. And just good players just get to the right spots at the right time. The 2-time Brownlow medalist there, Lockie Neal, finding himself in a great finish as well.
Great response from Brisbane, who were all at sea after a Nick Dacos-led tsunami in the second quarter. Well, they've gathered really well. This is like the start of this first quarter. They've got dominance all over the ground again. Joe Danaher, third quarter, started the third quarter like he did the first.
But Dacos hasn't been to the last 3 centre bounces as well, started at half forward, so they've taken him out of centre bounce.
And a passionate response it's been as well from their leaders, Danaher and Neal. Off the wing comes Fletcher to McInerney. Did well. Worked it through the pressure, but it's coming back from Dacos. Out wide to McCreary. Starcevic just a step off. He's brushed that aside with ease. And will send it forward now towards McStay. No! Wasn't far off the mark. Well handled back there by the Lions defence. Harris Andrews kicked only as far as Noble. Dacos again, asking questions. Wild handball to Crisp, to side bottom. To McCreary, had a quick look. That was all he needed. That was all. Got the ball, sent it the right way. The Pies aren't going to die yet.
Well, took a little bit of Collingwood magic in the forward half there. First it was the handball by Nick Dacos over the top, and then still side bottom. The 330 gamer saw McCreary in the pocket whilst being tackled and just hit an unbelievable handball. You can see McCreary talking about the handball there. Harris Andrews rushed out of this. John Noble's been fantastic in this game so far, but this handball here from Dacos just knew where he needed to get it. To Chris, sorry it was, and then side bottom found that handball. And a really good finish there from Bo McCreary.
Just looking at Harris Andrews, magnificent, well described, great effort by Collingwood. Why doesn't Andrews roll over and just take McStay? I mean, it's a battle of wills at the moment. He's just conceding and at the moment can have no impact.
He's not fighting through it.
Still no Nick Dacos in the middle. Fresh area from Chris. McCluggage whip it out to Wilmot. just floats the ball towards the flank. As Jack said, Noble's playing some game. Picks it up nicely, Johnny. Onto Quaynor. He's chased down behind by Loam. He can't affect the kick forward. Elliott's out of position. Hoskin Elliott does really well to bring it to ground. McCluggage picks it up cleanly. Zorko, good use. Now to Fletcher.
Turns immediately. It's a hard run from Cameron. Parker trails him in. Superior judgment from Charlie. And he is away. 2 bounces, exhilarating in his own way, making a third. Charlie's run the southern wing. Sets it up towards the biggest of O's. McInerney can't mark. Hipwood with a floating handball. Bailey loves a big goal on the MCG.
Huge tackle.
Not this time.
Great tackle.
Oh, he's paid it high.
He has. Wait till they realise this, the fans.
Wow, we'll need to have a look at it again. Clearly, the umpire's seen something. We just saw it from here, that Darcy Moore had done everything right.
No. Yes, there it is.
Action. Unlucky, but take the chance because the ball movement was superb from Brisbane, from one end to the other.
You can hear, you can feel the mood of the masses at the MCG. This man loves big goals against the Pies, but this time he flips it into the post, Zach Bailey. Hasn't quite been himself all season. 18 points stands between the two sides right now.
Collingwood season, their premiership defence on the line. Dacos wedged into the back pocket.
They're going to get Bobby Hill involved somewhere along the line. He hasn't been sighted.
Hoskin Elliott will come from behind. In the end, competed with his teammate Cox.
I've been watching him. Starcevic, he's off the ground at the moment, but he's had Bobby Hill, and Bobby Hill just hasn't wanted to engage and has sort of wanted to take Starcevic away. It's just mean he's been a non-factor.
Full disposal, one behind for Bobby. Rayner stands up strongly in that tackle back to Josh Dacos. Got Noble, slight fumble, good enough to work his way out of it. Hoskin Elliott versus Andrews. Harris with the fist. Comes to an important ball. Bobby goes off the ground. Has to McCreary. Works it down to Elliott. Here is Bobby Hill. They put the afterburners on to get away from Wilmot. But it's showtime. It's fallen over Bobby. Had too many tricks in the bag, and the Lions in the end will be happy because a rampaging Bobby Hill inside 50 will concern any defence.
He might have ran 40 metres.
He might have ran about 50.
But Starcevic off the ground at the moment, so maybe he's feeling like he can get himself back involved.
Big from Hoskin Elliott there again, an aerial contest with Harris Andrews.
Cameron in front has the play against Danaher. McCreary. Been a big presence in this quarter. Fletcher to Dunkley with Pendlebury in his face. Danaher in a whirlwind to half-back, hit with the contest. Now it's Dacos versus Rayner. And that's a shove in the back. The free kick is going the Pies' way.
That was a big moment there because Dacos Rayner one-on-one, but the next 3 players around that contest were all Brisbane.
Just keep an eye on Zorko and Bobby Hill at the moment too. There's a bit going on off the footy.
They're pushing Southern some blocks back in the square. Sidebottom makes himself dangerous.
And Zorko too busy fighting with Bobby Hill to see who's the closest man to steal side-bottom there.
We know he can kick a big, long goal, but I think under the circumstances, he'll play the percentages here, steal side-bottom.
Watch Pendlebury set himself up here.
Cameron, Hoskin Elliott, McStay, they were lined up. Whitell with the hands, went straight to Danaher. That was brave, effective. He has given it a mighty thump. Morris and Moore. Morris keeps it in, gains some yardage, but gives Moore a play on it. Morris was careful and cautious. Poke on Cameron. Brilliant. Gets it back from Neil. What can they construct? Oh, Morris is thinking about what he's going to do next. You've got to take it one move, one moment at a time in the cauldron of the MCG. Great smother, but still the Pies come. And they run into Harris Andrews, who runs the interference. Fletcher to the inside. Here's Wilmot. Out wide. Hurried kick forward. Lockie Neal has got Loman ahead. He's got Hipwood, Loman in the pocket. Time to have a good look. Flicks it back to the inside. Lockie Neal. They're trying to play the percentages. Archie, Noble, brilliant defence. Imagine the pressure.
Oh no.
Holding the ball.
Jeez, it was red hot. It was a great call, Hutto. They were outnumbered. They had one less for about 10 seconds, which is an eternity in their defensive half.
How good was the Maynard chase as well?
Yeah, he never gave up. This one-on-one from Nova was outstanding. And then that's red hot on Steel Sidebottom.
I think as soon as you put your hands up, and Sidebottom hasn't got them all the way up, but he's started to gesture to get his hands up, you're open to holding the ball there.
Getting it is one thing, converting is another, but this is a must. Oh, boy. Rayner wants a second go, but the umpire not interested. And the ball is back into play, and instead of being 24, the lead is 19.
This is just Sidebottom after the goal.
Careful. She got paid last night for that against Redmond.
Got away with that one. Cox had an arm held. He wants the footy immediately, the big Texan. He's got McStay down the line, leading towards the boundary. Just chips it short to Nick Dacos, who's coming up for his 22nd disposal. 2 goals, 1. He's gesturing that he wants to go all the way back, so he can open up the other side through Howe and Frampton, but Maynard says no. We're just going to belt it down the line to Mason. Good grab starting to have an effect, big Maso.
Joe Danaher down the line with Cameron.
Cameron's down there. They're telling Mason to just drive it long. That's exactly what he does. Andrews gets in a good position. Cameron arrives late on the scene. Brain, Danaher, trying to take off a little bit too much here, Joe. He's got a problem.
He was tripped.
I didn't see it, I don't think.
Well, he got away with one because he refused to go with Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron is as good a marking form as any player in the competition, and Joe Danaher just let him go. Now, yep, he was denied a free kick here, but he didn't see it. He looked at the umpire and said, "Why haven't you given me one?" The umpire said, "Didn't see it."
So Lipinski from tight sends the ball deep forward. Big pack of players. Comes to ground. Neil with the exit ball. Beautiful ball. Under pressure. No real vision. He saw McInerney and hit him right on the big chest. And now 52. So McInerney will take the distance. Brisbane players flood forward.
He's got to wait for some numbers, Howie. He's just got to just be smart about this.
Gives it to Joe, who doesn't want to wait. He goes to barrel. Shakes off the outside of the boot. We've seen every part of Joe. Yeah. Extraordinary, really.
Just errors compounding there for Joe Danaher. I think he probably let his frustration go on the football, but you've got to, sometimes with those 50 metres you want to rush. A lot of times it actually gives the defence a chance to reset behind you, so you've got to be smart with the ball use.
You've got to be smart about it. I'm not sure handing it to Joe's the answer.
Oh, surfing the pack was McStay. Dacos the tap, straight to Joyce. They have the extra number here, and the prime number is 3. And it's Danaher off to Lohman with a luxury of some space. Charlie's on the bike, he's back, he's forward. But Lohman, he wanted the moment, the youngster. Unfortunately, he has to issue the apologies. He's had a big day. He's had some good and bad as well.
Well, Joe Danaher's game has been quite extraordinary. I know sometimes we can focus on the negatives because they are quite extraordinary. But his ability to impact this match is almost unsurpassed.
Howe, driving ball down the line. Cameron's provided some leads with no access from his teammates so far this afternoon. Hurry ball out of the pack from Hoskin Elliott. And Joyce is there with the helmet on. He drops it back. Now Ashcroft. Possession 16 for Will. Zorko wants it wide and receives it. Go one further to Leicester if required, but they look to go back through the middle of the MCG. And Wilmot. Not sure really what to do, so he takes the safe option and splits it further wide.
3 goals, 4 to 1-1 for the quarter.
Fletcher on here.
He's been out to a 20-point lead. It's the choice he makes. So now Jasper Fletcher.
This is the uncontested mark game that Brisbane have. 100 uncontested marks, 9 and 0. Ash games this year.
Eventually makes the call to go long. It's an up and under. Frampton and Cameron both coming at the footy. And Darcy Cameron takes the mark. And the votes last week, the coaches' votes, as he eclipsed Brodie Grundy. He's had an excellent season.
Yeah, his 4th intercept mark cut up.
Yep. He sends it high as well, hoping that Cox or McStay was able to take it on his chest in the end. McCreary the lone pie inside 50, but it's starting to fill up now. The little handoff to Josh Dacos. Advantage paid. Hoskin Elliott had to wait, and by then, the moment and the opportunity had passed. The Brisbane defence doing what they needed to do.
Hoskin Elliott got a poke in his eye. He was trouble.
No one on Nick Dacos here at the moment. Outstanding crowd tonight. The Pies fans just keep coming out, irrespective of finals or not. There is a slim chance.
Side bottom ran onto it. Cameron, hurried snap. Has he got the coverage? He might just have. Hoskin Elliott likes it, so does the big man. And Collingwood won't be denied.
It didn't require Nick Dacos. It didn't require Bobby Hill. But a forward 50 stoppage, who you'd think would be the most two dangerous players in a contest like that, was Darcy Cameron, arguably one of the top picks for the All-Australian ruck position this year. You can see them off the contest here. The small was still side bottom, had a good run at it as well, but Cameron was able to grab it on the left. On the line here, Will Hoskin Elliott has done an absolute job on Harris Andrews tonight. Harris Andrews usually averages 8 intercepts, only 1 so far, in little moments like this.
He's only had the 4 possessions, Harris. So this man, Darcy Cameron's finishing the season. He wants it to go for another 10 weeks, Darcy Cameron, the form that he's in right now.
Both ruckmen have kicked a goal. Cameron 11 disposals, McInerney 13. Both could still have a big say in what happens from here. Margin back to 14. Cameron in sync with Dacos, running away from goal, so off to Maynard. Elliott and Hill are both present. Just a little awkward for Elliott, but he didn't panic. Now Lipinski, the chip to Schultz.
Well, this is the Dane Zorko factor. So Schultz and Nick Dacos are the two that a good old-fashioned change off a half-forward flank. They're changing off the Zork, whose first thought is ball. I watched him all night.
His only thought is ball.
Yeah. Well, this is smart from Schultz, who then gets into space.
22 goals, 19 for the season coming in. He's all about pressure, but he has to be about conversion as well. Again, the snap was short. Del?
There's been a tactical sub made on behalf of the Pies. It's Jack Bytel, who's going to make way for Ned Long, who'll come on for his first run. This game is hot, boys. It's been emphasised about the speed of the game. It's also a little bit chewy underfoot now, so the conditions have slightly changed.
Cold night in Melbourne. Brisbane by 24 at quarter time, 5 at half time. 13-point margin. Any confusion in the middle of the ground. Here's an opportunity again for the Lions. They get it out to Bailey, downfield. Chips it forward. Cameron, Moore. Darcy does well. Archie tries to burst his way through. Good tackle, bustling Billy Frampton. Howes there, releasing Parker. Looks for the exit ball to steal Sidebottom, who's had another huge afternoon. Immediately plays on short effectively.
He does to Maynard, who rolls onto the left. Stay topples over. It does get whistled eventually.
They just roll from the back half there the wrong way. At Dacos and another couple of midfielders in the middle, Collingwood.
Brisbane pushing plenty back. This won't be an easy kick. Joyce and Elliott, Wilmot and Hoskin Elliott do their little dance moves close to the chalk.
Sometimes they get a bit narrow when they look forward, Collingwood. Like if they had come inside, Ned Long has just come on the ground. Sometimes, and it happens to all of us, you see someone and he has to draw the footy when you can just widen your vision. Ned Long hasn't played enough footy at the moment that he naturally draws it. He was in the best spot then.
Andrews heads over onto McStay. Loosely. Quick kick, Lipinski. Andrews to fly. He was about to be crunched from either side. Eyes firmly fixated on the foot.
Couple of good moments. Harris Andrews.
Wilmot not the required. Screws it out wide to Loman. Kick 2. Had a shot for a third in the first term. Chris stands position on the mark. Zorko possession number 19 is very short to McCluggage. He's leading Brisbane with 20. Gee whiz, it was risky in the middle. Bobby Hill just through his fingertips. It's that type of night so far for Bobby. Now Bailey, Ashcroft got a bit of space, which is a problem for Collingwood. He looks forward. Morris does well in the air, but it's spoiled. Parker under pressure. Tracking it back is Lipinski. Morris with the tackle does well. Does Logan. In comes Parker again for second acceptances. No way out.
Had to be clean there, Parker. It was a really important moment. Bill Frampton didn't want to bar there. He just tapped there in front, gave up. Said, Patrick Lipinski, go and pick it up, can you?
Don't want to give one up here. Inside 40 seconds, third quarter.
Neil, Cameron. together. Both have an impact. How big? Morris, Ashcroft. Skinny.
Got away with one. Got away with one from the full 50 stoppage. And he'd like this time again there, Will Ashcroft.
Maynard shorts it to Howe. Back to Maynard. Just short down the line, defensive flank. Pretty happy to maintain that status quo at the moment. Jack Crisp sets it up for Hill. Oh, Bobby! Big fly, couldn't complete it. Jack Rewalt was out of his chair for a moment. Well, Brisbane by 24 at quarter time, 5 at half time. They kicked the first 3 of the third term. And Collingwood replied through McCreery and Cameron. Danaher's kicked 4, Lockie Neal's got 2, Nick Dacos has got a couple. Collingwood simply must win to keep the premiership defence alive. They trail at 3/4 time to the Brisbane Lions by 14 points.
Holy moly, folks, what a game. What a last quarter coming up. This is going to be exciting. Tell you what, the Brisbane Lions, 9-10-64 to the Pies, 7-8-50, 14 points. That's all that's in it, 14 points. Tell you what, the Pies were a little bit lucky because Brisbane missed quite a few easy goals there. A couple of set shots, so we're still in the game. Pies are still in the game. Brisbane, what did I say? Brisbane put on 3 goals 5 to the Pies, 2 goals 2. Being said, I tell you what, the umpires, they're not giving too much away to the Maggies, but let's not worry about what the umpires give. The team has to do it. They've got to get the job done. Good sister, bad sister. See you next match. Really enjoy the stream. Thanks very much. We'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks, Taddy, for hanging in there. Ryan, Tina Bem Bem. If everyone wants to give the channel link I dropped there, Tina Bem Bem, give that a little bit of love and a bit of support. That's my bestie. That's my manager. So please do that. And I've got at the pin, if you want to watch, I did a little vlog at the footy, Collingwood playing Gold Coast. That's pinned, that link at the top. Also, that is if you want to see a little bit of the MCG. Stay hungry. Thanks for hanging in there for the match. I tell you what, Lucas, come on, Pies. I know. Can we do it? Can we do it? Let's just have a quick look at the player stats. Want to see who's leading the way at the moment. Here we go. Jeremy Howe, 23. Wow, Jeremy Howe. Not often you see a backman up there with leading the stats, but he's doing fantastic in defence. And then you've got the Dacos boys. Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, 23 and 22. Need a big quarter out of the 2 fellas there if the Pies are going to get over the line. Of course, Nick Dacos will lead the charge if that happens. McCluggage doing well. Zorko lifted up to 19. Still side bottom, still having a pretty good game there. He's still going well, the old fella. Lockie Neal up to 18. Tell you what, that was a good quarter. It was a nail biter, to say the least. Especially, it didn't matter whether you're a Brisbane supporter, Collingwood supporter. You know, Brisbane, you wanted them to kick those goals, but they kept missing the goals. And Collingwood, you just wanted to stay in the match. And it was exciting when Brisbane were missing the goals for our team. Joey Danaher having a little bit of a good game there. 14 touches, 9 kicks, 5 handballs. But I tell you what, he can be a little bit selfish. He could have dished off a couple and put his players in a lot better position instead of just blazing away. As they said on the call, you're seeing the good, the bad and the ugly out of Joey Danaher tonight. But you know what? He's fun to watch. He's bagged 4 goals, 1. He's having a good game, is Joey Danaher. Charlie Cameron hasn't really been let off the leash yet with 11 disposals. Lockie Schultz, well, he's still a bit quiet. He missed a chance at goal there, which would have been important. And let's roll down the back there. Darcy Moore with just the 7. Eric Hipwood's pretty quiet there for the Lions, just with a 7 as well. Jamie Elliott, Bobby Hill need to get into the match. Bobby Hill, they probably need to whack him maybe in the centre of Jamie Elliott. Get him a run in the centre. Give him a little bit more touch of the ball. Get them into the game. All right, let's quickly have a little bit of a glance at the goal kicker, see what's happening there. There's Joey Danaher leading the way with 4 goals, leading goal scorer of the match. Lockie Neal with 2, Lohman with 2, and of course for the Pies, Nick Dacos is the only multiple goal scorer with 2. Quaynor, McStay, McInerney, McCreery, Hoskin Elliott and Darcy Cameron are the other single goal scorer. All right, let's get back over there and we'll answer that question from Netta. And that is the score at 3/4 time here at the MCG. It's the Lions by 14, 9-10, 64 to the Magpies, 7-8, 50. And both teams having their runs. Brisbane had a good run in that third quarter too, but the Pies' defence, etc., held up really well. So 14-point margin. They'll be happy with where that is at the moment. But we're going to head back down to the ground now to take us into the final quarter, which is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding quarter to the end of this match. All right, folks, let's head back down to the ground for the final quarter. Collingwood taking on Brisbane.
First half with hamstring tightness, so fingers crossed that's not too severe and that won't hamper the remainder of this year. Brisbane Lions trying to find a place in that top four. The Pies trying to find a way to stay in the finals hunt, but it is all set up for a big 30 minutes here, Hutto.
Well, you heard of that as well. Fremantle have dropped their last three on the live ladder. All of a sudden they take Port next week. Brisbane currently sit third. Port Adelaide play tonight. GWS got the job done. It's just so tight at the top.
I've resisted doing this all year because it just gives me a headache.
Get involved, Gary. It's great fun.
Keep winning, Anthony, would be the advice.
He keeps looking at Melbourne and wishing.
Charlie Cameron hasn't hit the scoreboard at all. Bobby Hill's kicked 1 point. These two blokes have been so pivotal and important at both sides at various stages. I'd love to see them get involved at some stage. Jeremy Howe's been outstanding. Intercept marking has been all the way of Collingwood.
In deep conversation, Jeremy Howe and Charlie Cameron. That ends because we are ready to go again for one last time today. The final term from the MCG. Last year's grand finalists going at it. McInerney to Neil. Side bottom tries to make up the ground. Maynard probably wished he took possession. McCluggage gets dumped. Holding the ball, and Collingwood will take the advantage. How significant? Hill whips it to Dacos. Is he close enough? Oh, he is now. Downfield.
Quick run, get it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
It'll be McStay who can delight in the simple things. Nick Dacos will clap and cheer it on.
What about the response from Nick Dacos there? If you reckon Collingwood have given up on this game all this season, then just have a look at that response from Nick Dacos.
There's the start. To the McStay, the former Lion. It's back to 8.
So that's the most, out of all of that, just the way that Nick Dacos reacted. Let's have a look at the Bunnings warehouse build-up. And the senior players are involved there. So it's side bottom that gets a little hand in. Oh, Ned Long, the tackle's great. Side bottom again. Bobby Hill says, you're the hot hand. Keep going, man. And then there's the downfield, which is, well, that's soft in my eyes, but footy's changed somewhat. And McStay gets the ball at the other end of the ground.
The Bobby Hill handball, don't underestimate the fact that he just waited at the last moment to get Nick Dacos out. Didn't give it too early, but actually gave him that room to run through in the Bunnings warehouse build up there.
Do we want that being paid?
I don't think it was a downfield. It was a violent tackle, but it's a violent game we play, and there was I didn't see any head high in it, but nevertheless, we're back on.
Pies fans will take it. They get the start they needed. It's against side bottom. They look to touch guilty.
Kicked the last 3 goals, the Magpies.
Oscar McInerney's free kick, and he's
already a full
70-metre sprint down the line.
I believe that was for umpire contact. That was the out-of-zone umpire that saw it from a distance, and I believe he said umpire contact.
Ned Long.
McInerney doesn't want to take the kick. Zork saying, give it to me. In the end, McInerney drops a deep ball forward. Here comes Hipwood from behind. Streaking onto it, Fletcher. Trying to throw a boot on it. Cleverly tapped down into the path of Bailey. Little snap off the outside of the boot. And now Brisbane answer.
It's been a quiet night for some of the forwards, the Brisbane forwards as well. Zach Bailey hasn't had a huge impact before that. The other one's Eric Hipwood as well, who was in the contest. So you can see Harris Andrews, he's run all the way down from fullback there to celebrate that and get involved.
Rayner here was terrific.
Just a classy little tap there from Rayner as well. And then even Bailey, just a nice little finish there. We know he's such a good player, and finding form for him will be important over the back part of this game and also next week as well.
a good sign of maturity from Cam Rayner. And we've been waiting for him to come on. He's had a really good 8 weeks or 10 weeks. A good season, to be honest, but he was quiet early. I think in games gone by, that might have been the end of him, but he's hit back really hard and had a big say in things.
They've got so many ways to goal, haven't they, Brisbane, when they're up and about. McInerney, the tap to the outside. McCluggage couldn't escape. The pressure remains intense. Long start of the day as the sub. He's right in amongst it now. Cameron tapped it. Fletcher couldn't quite shake the tackle. Does muster that kick high in the air. Lohman fully committed. Whacked back towards the big fella Cameron, who can't get a kick out of that. Play on, and Hill will with relish. Inside 50 to Cox.
Well, Bobby Hill has done something. So Bobby Hill for 3 quarters just sat wide and let Starcevic dictate to him and said, well, I won't go because you're already there. The start of this 4th quarter, as soon as he could, as soon as the 666 was gone, he took Starcevic up to the stoppage, and he's been involved in both passages of play that first resulted in the McStay goal, and it may very well result in this. I love that from Bobby Hill and from the Collingwood coaches.
He loves a big occasion at the MCG. He won't love that kick, though, because it's fallen short, and in the end, it's wide and over the line. So here's the umpire contact. Have a look at Ned Long, number 44.
Going to be paying that in the grand final.
Leicester hangs it up a long time. Neal's under pressure now. The Pies will swoop. Side bottom goes off the ground once. Side bottom goes off the ground a second time. Touch skinny. Collingwood pressing, 2-goal game.
Got the chances, Collingwood, at the moment. I love that point about Bobby Hill. Come into congestion to lose. Starcevic has been on him all day.
That wasn't the call that Zorko needed. No panic to Joyce and then to Brain. And Archie. So far, so good. 5 minutes gone in the final term. It is tight and it is tense.
Darcy Cameron down the line has been in ripping marking form.
Here comes Danaher. He thought he was out of the picture, so turned back. It was an interesting call. Left them outnumbered in the air. He was already thinking of how he could double back to goal. Craig McRae, triple premiership player for Brisbane. Chris Fagan still searching that elusive premiership as a coach.
Yeah, boy, had another spill there. They're sort of setting up behind him a lot. You can see him instructing that's the way he's going to come out.
Whacked back by McInerney. Great pick up by Neal, and he knew exactly where Rayner was. The danger elevates inside 50. On the move, Fletcher clamped immediately. The hands from Dunkley. Bailey, a standoff with Maynard. In the air, they'll come from both angles. Oh, the fumble from Lipinski. The door is back open.
That's another late call for a high tackle then.
Out of zone,
I think the out of zone was waiting for the closer umpire to call it. When he realised that he wasn't going to, then I think it was the right decision.
Maynard came up at the perfect right time there.
See it in the box. The 2 number 1s battle. Lipinski wins the contest. Fisting across the chalk on the other side.
Harrison Andrews starting to find his way into the game. He's managed to shake the Hoskin-Elliott match up for a while here. Now Hoskin-Elliott off the ground, so he's found himself on McStay and Cox, and he's much more at home there.
Fletcher's standing beside Nick Dacos, who so often gets Collingwood across the line in these tight ones. Cameron and McInerney do battle down towards Noble. Dunkley to Neal, kicked a couple of goals already, the 2-time Brownlow medalist. Back to Josh Dacos, gathers it perfectly, and past to a little bit of green grass. Now they arrive on the scene. Noble throws himself in, no one's getting out.
It's an incredible handball by Lockie there. Just to put it into a position where he knows that Josh Dacos is going to have to pick it up and to turn around and allow Brisbane to put the pressure on.
Still 16 minutes to go as they circle. Bailey gives it a mighty whack. There's Howe, there's more. And there's the carry of the football. Another foot almost would have got the journey. And they fall short.
Worked his way up to 20 touches, Lockie Neal. 12 contested. Great battle he and side bottom are having.
Now shorts it to Quainer. Squeezes out the side bottom. Has a bit of room on the outer side. Lipinski provides the short option. Hits him up. So good transition. The Pies out in front of the Shane Warne stand. Another man free is Elliott. So 4 successful passes down to Cox. Big Mason elevates. Perfect transition from the Pies. Brisbane didn't touch it. And the big Texan will have his second shot within the space of 3 minutes.
Those short chips up the far wing there, just the ability then for Brisbane trying to rotate up, will always give you a mismatch with Shadow Brain that was stuck on Mason Cox. You think Mason Cox would mark the majority of those. It's just finishing for him, had a shot. Already a sighter, which didn't make the distance. This is an important shot for goal.
He'll get pumped right up. Big Mesa, if he manages to kick this one from 48 metres out. Follows through. Second effort, not really much better, and again, didn't get the distance, and Harris is there to gobble it up.
How much more at home does Harris Andrews look playing on a key forward? It's amazing.
Andrews sends it out towards Hipwood. Moore should have him covered with the help from Howe. Ashcroft, the Fossick continues. Maynard to long, high. Cox is there again. He hasn't got any shorter. He can't mark this time. Elliott's only been a bit player, and he can't manage to hang on to it that time. Fletcher, Starcevic's reaction was brilliant, given he wasn't expecting it. Great reflexive action. But Crisp turns it back Collingwood's way. He could have gone to Schultz, swung it in on the bounce. The track was excellent. Hill, we wait, we watch. And it rattles into the post.
Bobby's getting busy.
He's busy and he's just cursing and muttering as the ball goes out what might have been.
Moves it quickly out to Fletcher. Back in towards Ashcroft.
They've taken 68 uncontested marks, Jack. So 100 the magic number. I'm not sure they're going to get there this game. They will look for some control though.
Gives up ground back to Joyce as Ashcroft with his 20th disposal. Nothing really presenting.
Defending really high here, Collingwood.
Andrews. Look to the interior, nothing was on. Back to Ashcroft, who started the chain. Got someone to come towards him. Really well disguised to Sharp. So patience from the Lions out of defence. Little hooking kick. Brain needs to go, does well. Just Shadow takes it across the line. Just Shadow Brain, a man that has got 12 siblings, if you can believe it, which Hutto makes him one of.
13, I think.
Correct.
Mark. I know you've got all the names.
Oh.
We don't have time at this moment to go through them.
We'll have to go halfway through the first term.
Very creative it is. From the throat. Follow on from Cameron. Snatched out of their hands, though. Ashcroft sends Neil on a path. Danaher waits for his moment. He's leading now, does a little lane. He goes instead longer towards Lohman and Morrison. More.
Well done.
And the Collingwood captain takes a telling mark. And he's thinking attack from the very last line. It's Josh Dacos to Quainer as they start to spread. Down the ground, there's McStay is viable. Quainer goes shorter though to Elliott. Is disrupted. It could come back the Lions' way. We still have to wait. Lipinski does well to Noble, or is it a throw? It is. It's a scoop.
They've got to swing straight into defensive mode here. They've taken 12 uncontested marks this quarter to 6, the Brisbane Lions. So there's the throw from Lipinski, who fumble probably didn't help him, but just can't allow Brisbane to take time off the clock and just spread this ball all over the field. So slow play, well matched up.
How's on Joe down the line.
Except for that.
Somewhat shorter. Dunkley plays on, sends it deep. Lohman just knows the areas to go to. Does Kai can't complete the mark.
Should have marked it.
He's disappointed and got away from it. Kicked 2 in the first term. Hassled out of defence. Only as far as Zorko. Want to get the ball moving. Points.
This is where they're defending really deep now, so they've pushed back really hard. Should have numbers here.
Leicester looks to the hot hand of Danaher. More with the fish from behind. Fletcher looked for the high.
Or in the back.
I wasn't interested.
The long blast for Collingwood from D50 is an absolute no-no here. They must run it out by hands or short possession.
Got to get hold of it first. Fletcher, Noble, Dunkley, Archie, and back again, and then the double grab came. And the circle closes immediately.
Ricky Dell told us there's a bit of dew coming in. There's been a bit of fumbling, a bit of double handling. I think Dunkley's been huge.
I saw Scott Henry fumble. I can't believe it.
Cool night in Melbourne. Been a gorgeous week.
He's had a big save proceedings, Dunkley. 25 touches, 12 contested, 5 score involvements.
Couple of champs there with Neil and Pendlebury. Neil up against side bottoms, a little bit of pushing, a little bit of shoving, a lot of respect between all of them. They duel it out on the 50 again. On the move, Crisp and Lohman with a flash. Ashcroft, high, Collingwood.
Total defence on the line here, Hutto. They've got to go the Pies.
That's exactly what Crisp does. It's an aggressive ball set to task to Maynard. Throws himself out of Brisbane and come back the other way. Zorko's handball misses the target. Pies swarm.
That's why I love that as well, Howie. It is all or nothing here. There's no tomorrow for the Pies. Don't play safe. They've been brave, and when they go, they're so hard to defend. We've got a blood rule here, so they've got time just to take stock.
It's probably the least they can afford to go off the ground in terms of ruckman.
Collingwood to win it. They take on Melbourne next Friday night. Brisbane take on Essendon on Saturday night at home. Fremantle lost their third in a row today. Geelong, Port still to play. The Giants on the back of 6 goals from Jesse Hogan, who is in rare form. They're up into second position. The Hawks, the Blues and the Dogs to get a roll soon.
Collingwood sending so many numbers up to the contest here. Only 3 forwards ahead of the ball.
Cox is lifted. Down towards Bobby Hill, who has as well. Side bottom has been huge all day. Just mungs it out into space. Might work out to Quain or runs onto it. They've got them ahead of the footy. Schultz runs on hard. Lockie's got it centre wing. He's got men coming towards him. Weighted pass is good. McStay, good hands. Bobby Hill's deep.
It's almost last week all over again.
Joyce came forward on the mark. So McStay now. He's got the leads coming. Sends it into the pocket. Too much on it. Fist comes from behind. Mark could have been taken by Brain. Collingwood will keep it in.
Well, it was the right spot. It was the right spot. They didn't think it was going to Jamie Elliott. It was just the kick sat up too long.
And the Pies match winner back on the ground, Nick Dacos, had his 5-minute break. He'll play out the remainder.
Margin 12, Cox the tap. And the follow. Desperation from Brain and Neil.
Deep breath time. Set up. Get the Dacos would be the number one priority right here. Fletcher's been the one that's been entrusted with it mostly. Watch for the block.
Lots of pointing. Lots of anxiety. Wrestled away beautifully by McInerney. Clears the immediate danger. Good contest from Hipwood. Gets the acclamation of his teammates. There's more winces as he heads back to defence.
Darcy Cameron off the ground. It's really big on Mason Cox. He can't let that happen again. Can't let McInerney grab it out of the ruck. It's an easy clearance. Got to fight, just got to halve it.
Almost reached the midpoint of this final term. Short throw in. Cox takes the 15 or 20 on offer. And we'll set up again.
Brisbane by 24 quarter time, 5 at half time, 14 at 3/4 time, back to 12.
Zorko sitting back off the hole here. There's a couple of players that Collingwood have just got to pay particular attention to right now, and he's one of them.
Cox doing well with his little spin in the ruck. Ashcroft took on the tackle, couldn't get clear.
His direct opponent is Bo McCreary here.
Yeah, so
Maybe he's the one to shoot through a stoppage, get on the fly.
Fletcher's sticking to Dacos. Nick as best he can. Cox just through the hands of McCreary. Crisp. Now McCreary's on further down the line. Gets it from Long's got Nick Dacos behind him. Goes to the magic man from the pocket. Elliott elects not to go to goal. What a pass that is. Schultz just got pushed in the contest. Swings around. Bobby Hill tries to duck through traffic. Centering ball to space. And Brisbane hack it out of defence. Moore's there. He'll send it straight back in.
He had to adjust quickly, and he did. Off the side of the boot, but well read by Hoskin Elliott. Charging out. Kept his composure, and he takes the mark. And now he just dabs it in short. No one was on long.
Wow, Darcy Moore's
He's going to fall over, is it?
He slipped, composed himself, Hunter caught it beautifully. When he hit Hoskin Elliott, he fist pumped like Nick Dacos did at the start of this quarter. He was that pumped. So they're coming, and they're coming really hard. Jack caught the McCreary one beautifully. They're going to push numbers up at the contest and then try and run their way through here. Moore's had some big moments in this quarter.
Oh, what a moment for Ned Long. Picked up in the mid-season draft, the former Hawk. Collingwood season hanging by a thread. All eyes turn to Ned Long, and unfortunately, it's another miss.
That's 1 goal 4 for this quarter for Collingwood. It's 11 points, 1 goal 4.
Pressing the Pies. Ashcroft trying to just cool things down.
Scotty Pendlebury yet to touch the footy in this last quarter. He's got to get himself involved again. He's the one that makes things happen that are converted into goals. Bad miss from Long.
Joyce, Jasper Fletcher. Hasn't missed since his debut game.
Closing up much better here. Collingwood taking away the uncontested mark.
Crowd getting involved. Cox will come from behind. Gets hands to it. Loman is not going to get out of there.
Just love to see Mason Cox just stuff that back inside 450. Had a clear run at it, but just absolutely send it back. Put the pressure back on ground level inside your 450.
Hill the deepest forward. Dacos couldn't manufacture initially. Now he does. To Chris, to McCreary. Long again, adapts. Here is Hill. One-on-one with Starcevic. And then the troops arrive. Joyce got there, but fumbled it. The pressure telling on so many players in so many different ways now.
Much like that second quarter, Collingwood exposing Brisbane out the front of the stoppage and out the front of the stoppage skinny as well. McCreary's the ones coming up off Zorko trying to get involved.
So they fixed that. They've sent Wilmot to McCreary, and now Zorko's had to go to Elliott.
Hill could be dangerous, so could Dacos. Hurried kick was smothered. McCreary realises he can almost stand up to Crisp, to anyone. Sharp, they close, and quickly. High.
Just got to be careful there. Like McCreary came in so fast to put in pressure, but as soon as the player's got his head over the ball, you've got to sit back and you allow them to come into you and cradle them.
Sharp dishes off to Zorko. Takes a bit off the kick, might work out in the end. Cox having a good period, just floats over his head, gets short of Frampton, might open up now for the Lions. Morris by hand. They got Cameron out, he's been out a few times. Joe wobbles it forward. Charlie inside 50. Collingwood fans, hearts in their mouth because Charlie drives it towards goal. Oh, Charlie! Wonderful finish by the champ. And they ease it out to 17 points.
Well, it was a sky ball that went up in the air. The Zorko kid missed Ashcroft, and Ashcroft just threw it on the boot. And you thought Collingwood were going to absolutely gobble this one up.
Look at the Ashcroft.
On the wing. It just bounces right in the middle here. And then from there, it was Cameron out the back. And as soon as Joe Danaher got there, so he had the space to kick it out the back. It still made it really hard. Joe just didn't hit the drop punt. But Charlie Cameron is a class player, and class players stand up.
Don't underestimate the goal from
That's
Charlie.
so good.
He's been quiet all
With a
day.
bit of dew too, so sometimes they skip on a little bit more.
Ashcroft's hands in amongst all of that as well just help make it happen. He's getting better and better with every minute that he plays, Will Ashcroft.
61,000 at the MCG. So many of them hoping against hope still. There is still time. We know what Collingwood can do. McCluggage sets it up for Danaher! And Joe Danaher has a golden opportunity here with 7 minutes remaining.
They've been so brave. The Magpies. Brisbane have got everything to play for. Collingwood are playing for their life. This could be the one that breaks the back of it. It's a long way back. 23 points if he kicks this with only 7 minutes on the clock. That set shot history could move in.
It doesn't matter.
Interpret
It doesn't matter anyway.
A week away from his 200th game, for his 5th today, for his 50th of the season. No.
He's been huge though. He's been huge in lots of different ways, but he has had a massive say on it.
Dacos, Josh wants to move it quickly and does beautifully. Wade Hoskin Elliott wanted to keep motoring. Frampton ran ahead of him. The Pies need to go. They realise they do. Sends it out wide to the outer side. Howe elevates, brings it to ground against Harris Andrews, who wraps it up and pulls it in.
All or nothing time here now. You can just maybe take some levity here if you're a Collingwood player. Get ahead of the play a little bit. You've got to take a risk. Jeremy Howe going forward with Harris Andrews tracking it.
Get forward, no spares.
Seen it time and time again this season. They teams coming from the clouds numerous times last week. Cameron working hard on the ball. Archie screws it forward. McCluggage somehow got it out towards Ashcroft, who is slung by Mason Cox. Comes back in that direction now. His side bottom delayed the release of the ball. Played it really well. Now Schultz has got it in front of Wilmot. Jamie Elliott's the deep target. Elects to go by hand. Noble. Can he hit someone on Elliott on the lead? Jamie can kick big goals from these areas late in games. Jamie Elliott has been quiet, but now his moment arrives.
Gee, a goal here going to make Joe Danaher sweat all of a sudden. Gets it back to 2 goals. Can't take too long. And we know how good he is, this man. He's been clutch on so many occasions.
He could he? This is going to be a phenomenal kick.
To shape it back. 20 goals for the season. He'd love this to be his 21st, Jamie. To bring it back to a 2-goal margin in front of the Collingwood faithful. Hits it pretty well, doesn't quite swing it back enough. Dangerous area in McStay. Maybe a valuable point.
3 goals, Howie, 3 goals. We've seen stranger things in this crazy season. This is a magnificent tune-up from Brisbane too, by the way. Make no mistake, it's been tough, it's been hard. They've had the answers all night. They hold on for here, they'll get great confidence from this.
Still 5 minutes to see off though. And we know if they go into defensive mode too early, how difficult that can make things. Parker doesn't fly because Frampton have it covered in the air. The little gift to Noble. He wants to see September action. Swings it in for Schultz. The big off-season recruit for the Pies. There's pain for Lohman. Will there be pain on the scoreboard? Schultz is going back quickly.
Collingwood need to settle here as well. Like, there's a rush to score, obviously, but the runner needs to get out and go. There is still 4.5 minutes to go. There's plenty of time here.
So many have had shots today and missed. Lachie Schultz knows he's been one of them. He's had 2 that have missed. But this one's through. This one is true. And guess what? They're hanging around.
They're hanging around and they've done it so many times. Not so much this year, but it could be a throwback here. They're coming from nowhere. So Lohman runs in, gets some friendly fire from Morris. The mark was so important from Frampton. Goes back the other way. Their intercept marks. That's their 21st for the match, if you don't mind. And then Noble's kick here is just to the right spot. There's a couple lining up. Howe wasn't far away. Great mark, great conversion. 11 points. 4 minutes 12.
Little moment here. Scott Pendlebury's just come off the bench. He could not think of a better player to come off the bench with 4.5 minutes to go and go straight into the middle of the ground. He will absolutely have a plan for what this looks like for Collingwood here and for the rest of the game.
Collingwood fans up and about.
Long's got Neil. Collingwood fans like what they see. Cameron wanted to go by hand. He was close to the man on the mark, so he sends it deep. It'll be over the top of Elliott. McStay flies. Haven't cleared it out at all. Brisbane, a fist down like a volleyball. Spike through the hands of everybody. McCluggage does well. McInerney drives it forward. Moore's in best position. Danaher arrives late, trying to get free and get it. Isaac, what a tackle! Came from nowhere, ran him down on defensive 50.
Well, everyone can see it except Zach Bailey. They believe Collingwood.
Out to the wings, some marking interference. Free kick to Hoskin Elliott. And they move it quickly. This man has had a huge last quarter. Noble spears it for Schultz again, deflected. It stays in. Their hopes are still alive. Elliott back to Lachie. Schultz! Schultz!
No!
Rampant!
Lachie Schultz has waited until the 23rd round to start the replay the Collingwood faithful. He has been outstanding. Darcy Moore, surely he didn't come to the bench, did he?
Came for instructions off Craig McRae. Don't underestimate John Noble. He took the risk as soon as that free kick was paid, just ran forward and created the space. He has run all day, and Schultz stands up and goes, bang, Daz, come on. Says Nick Dacos, whatever you can do. I'm not going to get to the save. They were pretty bloody good, Howie.
They've closed it to within 5, and there's still 3 minutes on the clock.
Footy at its absolute best. The MCG is pumping. The coach knows the importance. The opposite coach is trying to defend his premiership and keep the dream alive. All-important clearance. Whistle. Advantage Collingwood. Cameron drives it deep forward again. Howe's gone forward, flies. McCreary tries to find space. Here comes side bottom. And they're inside the area they want to be, the Pies.
Got to get some control, Brisbane. Got to get a mark where they can just take a little bit of time to set up. Right now, the frantic nature is playing into Collingwood's hands.
Camera into space. Here comes McCreary. By McCreary with a check. What are we seeing in the MCG? The Pies go bang, bang, bang. And they lead Brisbane by a point. Still 2:45 on the clock, and the joint is absolutely rocking.
Well, it's been 450 stoppage all day where Brisbane just have not looked. They have looked at sea all day at 450 stoppage. Collingwood Smalls are running absolute right. And it was McCreary here, took a couple of steps to steady up. And a beautiful finish, Gary, the check side here.
Shadow Brain, wrong side. Just gave McCreary goal side. Young man still learning the caper. Had to get goal side. McCreary had to run past him to do this. As soon as he's out, he's gone. Extraordinary comeback. Collingwood's premiership defence is still alive.
Unbelievable. Out the front of the stoppage again. Just haven't protected it all day, Brisbane.
What's this do for Brisbane's top four hopes too?
What a sight, what a sound around the MCG. 2 minutes 44 of madness still to come your way.
Now you've got to flip from offence to defence if you're Collingwood. Hold the ball in. Brisbane want to get it out now.
Hoskin Elliott's gone behind the ball. The ball sling out towards McCreary. Fisted away Joyce. McCluggage, Bailey. There is no room to manoeuvre in all of that.
Howe's gone back. He went forward. Now he's gone back. He's been the intercept marker. He's taken 6.
Harris Andrews going forward now as well. Equalise.
Has to even up.
McStay has a cut hand. He's on the bench. They are prowling down in front of us. High ball from Dunkley. High leap from Elliott. Can't split them in amongst all of that. There is 2:18 on the clock.
So Harris Andrews has evened up. Schultz goes back, and now Wilmot goes to even up.
Collingwood's only got one player forward the footy in the form of Bobby Hill.
Derek Joyce is on his own in defensive 50, got no opponent. The rest are all defending.
Still haven't sent anyone forward, the Pies. Bobby Hill is the lone man there. They can't dump it. Side bottom elects to do that. Setting Bobby Hill a task. The electric Bobby Hill is going to take on Joyce. Bobby Hill across the face. Out of bounds. It's almost, but it's not a goal. It's the perfect kick.
It's a great result.
You're right about Joyce as well. He's actually got to come up and nearly get lateral to the stoppage and tell his teammates, kick it out wide, get it out to the space at the moment. Brisbane just playing line of goal. Can't win it from line of goal.
And it's closed up here. Collingwood would be content to leave it here.
61,000 at the MCG. Entranced as the boundary umpire swings it back. Ruckman locked up. The tap, Cameron. All eyes on Dacos and Archie. And now it dribbles back over the boundary line.
Doing this well, the Pies, just taking simple seconds off the clock. Lie on the ball. Get it out of bounds. Play the percentages. Don't put any risk. You don't need to keep the ball alive.
And not going as hard at stoppage now. It's more about defending any ball that they do lose.
And someone turn around for Brisbane. Ashcroft. Archie to the wing, but it's in the crowd. Out of bounds on the full. 1 minute 39 left. The Pies by 1.
Well, they've got no choice here. They've got no choice, Brisbane. Close everything down. They're going to go down the line, close to the boundary. They'd be happy to get it out of bounds. Got to get possession, the Lions.
Dacos just does that towards Cameron.
That's a win. First win. Here it is. Last roll of the dice.
McInerney. He wants to just get it as far away from his defensive goal as possible. Here's big moments in Brisbane's season, in Collingwood's season. Comes towards Hipwood. Pendlebury's a free kick.
Collingwood free.
Schultz.
Going the way of Schultz, who can now probably afford to go back and across and take time.
With 5 uncontested marks away from winning this game. Scott Pendlebury in exactly the right position, defending the side of the corridor there.
Will Hoskin Elliott's out on this wing on his own. No one near him. Hasn't looked.
The minute 10. Schultz as wide and as defensive as he can to go forward. And Cameron has been heroic. He takes the mark. Precious seconds, 1 by 1. They count down. He'll point. He'll wait to the last possible moment. Umpires Umbrella says you've got to go. And when you've got to go, you've got to kick it along. The massive players, the fist of Dunkley. Archie.
It's a throw.
It's a throw.
It's it.
It's a throw.
Take the 30 seconds for the shot at goal. It's going to leave you 11 seconds on the clock.
Been huge, John Noble.
This is extraordinary. This could cost the Brisbane Lions a top 4 spot, a home final, and maybe a crack at a premiership here.
Absolutely. And this man, John Noble, he knows all the emotions of football. He had to sit and watch last year as his great mates celebrated that ultimate prize in September. He is not giving up on his dreams. He's been one of a myriad of heroes in this game.
He's playing it well here with the spatula boot, mouth guard in the pocket. Have a look at that.
He's still got 12 seconds.
Reluctantly, he will kick. Surely not. Marked on the line by the big O. They've got to go from one end to the other. Deep to the wing. Free kick to Brisbane. Time will beat them. Oh, those Collingwood Knights! Even by their standards, this was quite miraculous and spectacular. The dream remains. The emotions of football on display at the MCG.
We shouldn't be one bit surprised about this, and this is the big story here. The Brisbane Lions now sit outside the top 4. Geelong are still to play. Port Adelaide is still to say, may cost themselves a potential home final and maybe a realistic crack at a premiership. At Collingwood, well, they just stay alive, and they deserve to be on the back of that performance. They refuse to concede anything. They refuse to concede anything. They recruited Lachie Schultz, and there's a lot of discussion about Lachie Schultz through the course of this home and away season. He's left it until the penultimate game to say, hey, I'm here for a reason. He banged through the last 2 of the last 3. McCreary kicks the one that put him in front, and they hang on. Why would we be surprised?
Nick Del Santo is down on the ground where it's pumping, Nick.
If he can hear us, can you hear me?
It's like a nightclub down here. And I'm down here with the rock star himself. But hey, he's still alive.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. Credit to Brisbane. Like, we always seem to play these close games, but our boys, what a way to finish.
You shouldn't expect anything different when you come to a Pies game. But that one and the way that it finished, the way the crowd got involved, 61,000, that one felt a little bit special, a bit different as well.
Oh, for sure. I love seeing the small forwards. They work so hard for our team and our outfit, and seeing them kick a few goals late to put us in front in the clutch time is just unbelievable.
Tell us about what was said at quarter time and then how you changed the course of the game, because it didn't look pretty at quarter time.
No, absolutely. Fly and Leper, there was a few things that we needed to adjust, and they got to work, and a lot of it was managing Brisbane's ball use. They're such a good team at using the ball and picking us apart, so we had to handle that first, and they just want us to play some front brand of footy, which I think we did in the second.
Your second quarter individually was just spectacular. We're almost in that part of the ground where you took the bobbling ball, accelerated left and then cut back right. Tell us what you saw in front of you and why you took the game on like you did.
Been watching some Bobby Hill and Bo McCreary highlights, I think, but I bounced the ball, and then the Brisbane defender sort of went to the player I was going to handball to, so it opened the path right up, luckily, and yeah, good finish.
How much do you identify moments? You knew that you guys were under the pump at quarter time. How much can you recognise in the moment that you need to do something different to get your team back into the game?
Oh yeah, we're a system-based team, and we don't rely on individuals, so we've got a really, really strong system. We went to work on it after the Carlton game. We weren't too happy with how we finished the game, and obviously they had a chance to win it late, so we tweaked a few things, and I thought the boys executed it perfectly tonight.
Almost perfectly. To the last couple of seconds, you guys closed out another game. Congratulations.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
But yeah, his legend just grows and grows. And this is the winner here. You want to know why they're good? Because they keep asking a question, and they just went into full-on
attack, make space for yourself, goal side mode in the last quarter, and charged into it. McCreary had been doing it against Zorko, who was dropping off, and then they changed it, and Shadow Brain goes to him, but he just gave him goal side.
And hit out from Cameron there as well. And this is a lesson that Brisbane will learn. The fact that they haven't played right in the system at the back end of the game there and have given up opportunities. That's a young player that hasn't played a lot of footy, playing on a player that is a dynamic player in a forward 50. And they will go to town on their forward 50 structures, Brisbane, because they were not up to standard tonight. They got pulverised in areas. Nick Dacos early on has cost them the game late.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a world-class sporting event. He just sat there and watched.
No, it clearly was unbelievable. When we should never take it for granted.
No.
And this season's throwing up stuff that I've not seen in my time in footy, and we just saw another one. Let's go back down to Nicky Dell.
Bobo, standing in the middle of the MCG, you've had some spectacular moments here. You look back to last year. That individual there might have been your best.
Yeah, for sure. I was lucky enough to get on the end of a couple, but I saw the boys getting around me and giving it a good.
Nick Dacos just walked past you. He was whispering something about that particular stoppage that you kicked the winner. What was he saying to you?
Yeah, that stoppage Nick came in and told me to hold, but that's good old Nick for you. But I was like, no, I'm going 450, so lucky to get on the end of it, but yeah, we're happy.
Tell us about the build-up throughout the course of the week, the disappointing loss last week. There's still a chance. How important are, even off the back of the first quarter, just to stick at it and get the result?
Yeah, of course, we're pretty flat after last week, but we showed all that DNA last week, so we just wanted to bring that again tonight. And we did that, and I think we did it for 4 quarters, so we're happy with the outcome.
Nick also mentioned about the unrewarded work that the small forwards do in particular.
Yeah.
How nice is it to get a little bit of recognition late in the game?
Yeah, it gets frustrating at times, but that's our job. Put on pressure and hopefully get a lick here and there, so I think we all got kicked a goal or two tonight, so it's always nice to get that.
The other smaller forward that we spoke about throughout the course of the day was Hoskin Elliott's role on Harris Andrews. Did you notice it, and how significant was it for you?
Yeah, we're all that on Wilbur. Obviously, Harris is such an amazing player, so for Will to keep him to not much, massive credit to Will, and he plays role for us every week in and week out. It's amazing.
Another amazing game involving the Pies. Congratulations. You're still alive. We'll wait to see what happens.
Thank you.
Still alive after a thrilling win over the Brisbane Lions. The reigning premiers live to fight another day, while that has dealt a savage blow to the Brisbane Lions' chances of a top 4 finish. This is Super Saturday on Fox, brought to you by the Kia Sorrento. Jason Dunstall, David King and Joey Montagna. It has been a really awesome day of football. We're going to sink our teeth.
All right, folks. All right. It was the Pies. Can you believe it? It was the Pies. Santa all. Good stuff. Now, folks, before everyone leaves or we say goodbye, don't forget, head to the pin. Check out my bestie's channel, T-Name Bem Bem. I'll pin that for everyone to go and have a little bit of a support to her. She's a ripper. So please head over there. After this, go and say hello to her. Tell her you came from me. Be fantastic. All right, we'll just have a look at that poll today. We had 122 votes, and of course 52% of those went for the Magpies, 47% went for the Lions. It was a close. It was a close game. I tell you what, that was super exciting. That was super exciting for the 120 people in the house witnessing the comeback that had to be done by the Magpies to keep their chances alive. Magpies booted 4 goals, 5 in that final quarter to the Lions. 2 goals, 2. I tell you what, it's anyone's match. Let's have a look. Can we see what the live ladder looks like now? Is it there? Let me just put this up before we have a look at... No, the live ladder is a little bit slow. It's not coming up. But I'll tell you what a game. There is Collingwood. They'll now go to 48 points. So for all Collingwood supporters, we are hoping that Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn and Carlton all lose their match that's still to play. And hopefully that'll give us still a chance to make the finals next week. If we win, I know we've got a pretty hard game next week. Let's just have a quick look at the players' stats. See who ended up on top there. Hugh McCluggage with 26 and Josh Dunkley 26. Dane Zorko, not a bad game, 25. Still side bottom, one of his best games I've seen him play for quite some time. 25 disposals, well done, Steele. Good stuff. Of course, Nick Dacos in all the big moments. I'll tell you what a star, Nick Dacos. Josh Dacos, 25 also. He's little brother, his bigger brother. Will Ashcroft, 25. Everyone shared the ball around, as you can see. There was no one that really dominated this match. It was all pretty even. Lockie Neal with 22. Jeremy Howe, cracker of a game. Braden Maynard, although 18 possessions, he seemed to have a little bit of a quieter day, but nonetheless did a good job with Jack Crisp. Joey Danaher, I'll tell you what, we saw the good, bad and ugly from him, but you know what, he had a pretty good game there for the Brisbane Lions. 16 touches, 12 kicks, kicking 4 goals too. Lockie Schultz came alive in that final quarter with a couple. Tell you what, it was good stuff. Cam Rayner, well, he went a little bit missing tonight for the Lions. They needed him to step up. Scotty Pendlebury, the captain, 14. Quainer, a couple of fantastic intercepts, marks. Great game from him with 13. Charlie Cameron tried his best with 12. Bobby Hill got into the action a little bit in that final quarter. Couple of scoring assists there, good stuff with 10. And there is the rest. Let me just switch it over to the goals. I'll scroll back up. Let's have a look who were all the goal scorers in this game. And of course, Joey Danaher led the table with 4 goals. Lockie Schultz come to life. He kicked 2 goals too. Joey Danaher was 4 goals too. Lockie Neal for the Lions, 2 straight goals. Daniel McStay, 2 goals, 1 for the Pies. Bo McKerry, he kicked 2 goals. Kai Lohman, 2-2 for the Lions. Nick Dacos, the star, 2 goals, 1 for the Pies. And singles to Quainer, McKerney, Hoskin Elliott, Charlie Cameron, Darcy Cameron, Zach Bailey. Now for the AFL Fantasy points, if you play that, 115, Nick Dacos, top the table there. Still side bottom on 111, Jeremy Howe, 109, and the rest under the 100. Team stats, let's have a quick look at that. It was the Lions by about 21 overall. The kicks were pretty even. It was about 20 odd into the handballs for the Lions. Inside 50, 47. Let me have a look at the scoring shots again. 47 inside 50s to the Magpies, 24 scoring shots, and the Lions 44 inside 50s for 23. So they both scored reasonably well for going inside their 50. Disposal efficiency, both the same there, and of course, in efficiency inside 50, both doing a great job there. Free kicks, 23-20, not much difference there. The umpires sort of paid a few free kicks in that final quarter. Stoppages, let's have a look at the hit-outs now. Pies by 12 in that department. Clearances, pretty level there. Centre clearances, Pies got on top there by 4. Stoppage clearances, Lions by 6. Contested possessions, Lions just a fraction harder there. 16 in front to them, and the uncontested 21 for the Lions. Turnovers by 5 more to the Lions. It was a pretty high pressure game, and you know what, it was like a mini final. It was a little bit like a grand final feeling again from last year. It was just an absolute cracker of a game to watch. It was high pressure through, and you could tell that by when players having shots on goal, especially in that third quarter, that the pressure was getting to them and they couldn't quite kick accurate. Pies by 7 in, the marks inside 50, 14-11, both did well there. Contested marks 9-4. Pies a little bit stronger there in the air. Time in front, well, there you go. Well, the Pies were in front a little bit. The time hasn't registered there. The tackles, Pies bringing the pressure, the heat there, 71-41. Good stuff. Tackles inside 50, which is super important. 16-7, Pies by 9 there. 1%ers and the bounces, both teams reasonably easy. Let's see if this ladder is updated. And there is the updated ladder now, folks. As of right now, there is the live updated ladder. And as you can see, with that loss to Brisbane, they now dropped in. They are still at 5th position. With Fremantle also have played today and not winning, luckily for the Lions, but the Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn and Carlton all still yet to play. And for the Pies supporters out there, let's hope that those 3 teams get beaten in boil-overs. And of course, Collingwood sitting there in 10th on 48 points. So 4 teams there on 48 points. Who's the one who's going to make the finals with just 4 games remaining in this round and then 1 week left of the home and away season? It's going to be a very, very exciting finish. Come next week, folks. You don't want to miss next week's round, the final round of the home and away. And we'll see who's going to be there when it counts come the finals. All right, there we go. Can you believe it? Send all the pies. Good stuff, Magpies. Good stuff. Let's head down to Nick Dacos as he's talking.
To Brisbane, like we always seem to play these close games, but our boys, what a way to finish.
You shouldn't expect anything different when you come to a Pies game. But that one and the way that it finished, the way the crowd got involved, 61,000, that one felt a little bit special, a bit different as well.
Oh, for sure. I love seeing the small forwards. They work so hard for our team and our outfit, and seeing them kick a few goals late to put us in front in the clutch time is just unbelievable.
Tell us about what was said at quarter time and then how you changed the course of the game, because it didn't look pretty at quarter time.
No, absolutely. Fly and left right, there was a few things that we needed to adjust, and they got to work, and a lot of it was managing Brisbane's ball use. They're such a good team at using the ball and picking us apart, so we had to handle that first, and they just wanted us to play some fun brand of footy, which I think we did in the second.
Your second quarter individually was just spectacular, and almost in that part of the ground where you took the bobbling ball, accelerated left and then cut back right. Tell us what you saw in front of you and why you took the game on like you did.
Been watching some Bobby Hill and Bo McCreary highlights, I think, but I bounced the ball and then the Brisbane defender sort of went to the player I was going to handball to, so it opened the path right up luckily, and yeah, good finish.
How much do you identify moments? You knew that you guys were under the pump at quarter time. How much can you recognise in the moment that you need to do something different to get your team back into the game?
Oh yeah, we're a system-based team and we don't rely on individuals, so we've got a really, really strong system. We went to work on it after the Carlton game. We weren't too happy with how we finished the game, and obviously they had a chance to win it late, so we tweaked a few things and I thought the boys executed it perfectly tonight.
Almost perfectly. To the last couple of seconds, you guys closed out another game. Congratulations.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yeah, his legend just grows and grows. And this is the winner here. You want to know why because they keep asking a question and they just went into full-on attack, make space for yourself, goal side mode in the last quarter and charged into it. McCreary had been doing it against Zorko, who was dropping off, and then they changed it, and Shadow Brain goes to him, but he just gave him goal side.
And the hit out from Cameron there as well. And this is a lesson that Brisbane will learn, that the fact that they haven't played right in the system at the back end of the game there and have given up opportunities. That's a young player that hasn't played a lot of footy, playing on a player that is a dynamic player in a forward 50, and they will go to town on their forward 50 structures, Brisbane, because they were not up to standard tonight. They got pulverised in there. It was Nick Dacos early on, and defence cost them the game late.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a world-class when you sat there and watched.
No, it clearly was unbelievable. When we should never take it for granted.
No.
And this season's throwing up stuff that I've not seen in my time in footy, and we just saw another one. Let's go back down to Nicky Dell.
Well, Bo, standing in the middle of the MCG, you've had some spectacular moments here. You look back to last year, but individually that might have been your best.
Yeah, for sure. I was lucky enough to get on the end of a couple, but it's all the boys getting around me and giving me the good.
Nick Dacos just walked past you. He was whispering something about that particular stoppage that you kicked the winner. What was he saying to you?
Yeah, that stoppage Nick came in and told me to hold, but that's good old Nick for you. But I was like, no, I'm going 450, so lucky to get on the end of it, but yeah, we're happy.
Tell us about the build-up throughout the course of the week, the disappointing loss last week. You're still a chance. How important are, even off the back of the first quarter, just to stick at it and get the result?
Yeah, of course, we're pretty flat after last week, but we showed all that DNA last week, so we just wanted to bring that again tonight. And we did that, and I think we did it for 4 quarters, so we're happy with the outcome.
Nick also mentioned about the unrewarded work that the small forwards do in particular. Yeah. How nice is it to get a little bit of recognition late in the game? Yeah,
it gets frustrating at times, but that's our job. Put on pressure and hopefully a link here and there, so I think we all got kick a goal or 2 tonight, so it's always nice to get that.
The other smaller forward that we spoke about throughout the course of the day was Hoskin Elliott's role on Harris Andrews. Did you notice it, and how significant was it for you?
Yeah, we're all that on Wilbur. Obviously, Harris is such an amazing player, so if we were to keep him to not much, massive credit to Bill, and he plays role for us every week, week in and week out, and it's amazing.
Another amazing game involving the Pies. Congratulations. You're still alive. We'll wait to see what happens.
Still alive after a thrilling win over the Brisbane Lions, the reigning premiers, live to fight another day, while that has dealt a savage blow to the Brisbane Lions' chances of a top 4 finish. This is Super Saturday on Fox, brought to you by the Kia Sorrento, Jason Dunstall, David King and Joey Montagna. It has been a really awesome day of football. We're going to sink our teeth into St Kilda and Geelong.
All right, folks, there we go. That wraps up this game where Collingwood took on Brisbane and they defeated the Lions. 11-13-79, the Magpies to the Lions 11-12, 78 by 1 solitary behind. What a game. What a game. What a game. Absolutely fantastic. Congratulations to all the Collingwood supporters out there. I know there are plenty in the chat today. Commiserations to the Lions supporters. But you know what? The Lions, you'll make the finals, so don't worry too much about that. I tell you what, now we can breathe. Now we can breathe. That's it. That's it. I was talking about the other teams who's due to play, the Hawks, the Dogs and Carlton. Let's hope they're all upsets and none of those teams win, and that will give us a good chance to jump up next week. We'll see what happens. As I said, I think the Hawks are a big chance to win. Yeah, but just have a quick glance at Western Bulldogs play North Melbourne. Yeah, look, that's going to be very tough for Western Bulldogs to lose that, but you just don't know. And North Melbourne might want to win that. They've been in reasonable form the past couple of weeks, so let's hope for North Melbourne victory against the Bulldogs. Hawthorn Richmond, well, that's in the bag. Hawthorn, you know, they could probably go out there with half a team and still win that match very, very comfortably. West Coast Carlton, I'm not so sure about that game. West Coast play reasonably good. Carlton are in the dungeons at the moment. They're really, really struggling. So that is a possibility. But I think we need... Do we need 2 teams? We need 2 of the teams to lose. So we need 2 of the 3. Western Bulldogs, Carlton, Hawthorn. We need 2 of those 3 to lose to give us a chance. And then we need 1 of those teams to lose next week, of course. And the Pies win. So look, anything's possible. It's still mathematically possible. That's the beauty of football, folks. That's the beauty. It's not over until it's over. And look, even if the Pies don't make it this year to the finals, I think they've got a great season to look forward to next year when they get their full list back. As I said, you know, the Pies had a lot of injuries during the year and did very, very well to hang on to where they are at the moment, even to get as close as they have. And with the full list next year, I'm sure they will be up the pointy end of the ladder playing finals. So it should be just, you know, something to really look forward to for the Pies next year, even if we don't make the finals this year. But you know what? Little miracles have happened, and you just never know. So who knows? Let's hope that the Pies can make it through somehow. It'd be pretty exciting if we do. There we go. All right, folks, I think I will wrap this live up now because we got the next game coming up, and that's going to be St Kilda versus Geelong. That should be another cracking game also. Not as exciting as this game, of course, where the Magpies came out with one of their big, big victories, one of their memorable ones of 2024 season, where they took out the Lions raw. All right, folks. Thanks very much all for coming in. Don't forget, on your way out, if you want to hit the pin, just jump over to T-Name Bem Bems. Give her channel a little bit of support. That's my manager. That's my best friend over there. So I'd like to give her a little bit of support over there. So her link is at the pin. So you can jump over there if you like. I'll probably be live in about 5 or 10 minutes on the next game. And the next game is St Kilda taking on Geelong. I think that's at Marvel Stadium. But I tell you what a game, what a day, what a game. Magpies by 1 point here at the MCG, 79-78. Fantastic. There's the manager in the house right now, T-Name Bem Bem, good stuff. Head over to the pin, folks. Go and give some support there, and much appreciate that. All right, folks, I'm out of here for this live. Thanks for everyone for coming in. Appreciate that. We'll see you on the next game. As I said, the next one will be nice penultimate game. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As I said, the next game's coming up in about 5 minutes. That'll be St Kilda Geelong. If you do happen to miss that one, we'll be back on for tomorrow. And we'll probably cover the Western Bulldogs North Melbourne game tomorrow and the West Coast and Carlton game. And we'll be cheering on the underdogs there 100% for sure. All right, folks. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next live if you come on over. If you just head over to the channel, you will see when I'm live. And don't forget, head to the pin and show my bestie some support. Be much appreciated. All right, folks. Till next time, ciao for now. We'll see you in the next live. Enjoy your footy.